Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are back in the building. I am your host. We are here for another episode of the Speak On It podcast. I'm your host, Big Mike. I got the fellas in here. I got podcast Poppy Dylan next to me.
Estamos aquí. We're out here.
Got Roz below me. Got James next to him.
I am Base God. That's why
I see the name.
Thank you,
I see the name.
Thank you, Base.
Throwing a hex on all you guys.
Anthony is not here this week.
Fuck him.
Ooh, Mike, you lucky.
I mean, it's
pretty sure he has smoke for you.
It's bittersweet.
I know he's got something for you.
I know. I was gonna say,
oh yeah,
he does have something for me.
Can you believe that loser, that fucking loser, picked a 27-point spread?
The disrespect is unbelievable. And he's just talking shit. Everything that he said was going against him in that game. He was talking shit about our defense, 9 sacks. He was talking shit about Julio Jones, lighting their ass on fire. Talking shit about Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry had a good... Dante Foreman, as I was screaming... But in the end,
Julio Jones did play. Dylan was like, "We don't know if Julio Jones is gonna play." He played pretty good. Too.
QB stirs the drink as usual. QB stirs the drink,
and as the game, it was all good. Pull the curtain back. Ryan Tannehill threw that absolute dime to AJ Brown.
Imagine being the one guy in this podcast who has consistently been shitting on Ryan Tannehill throughout his whole career and tried to tell all the Titan fans I know that Tannehill's not the one, and they kept giving me the same stat that Tannehill has had like the highest completion percentage and win percentage since taking over. I'm like, hey,
he came over,
bro.
He's been a phenomenal quarterback.
Well, the real Ryan Tannehill
threw that touchdown. I broke what I normally do because, as you guys know, I normally wait for the game to end before I start talking shit.
That's my quarterback.
But the playoff fever took over my body, and in haste, I went screaming into the chat that's my quarterback, throwing dimes out there.
And guess who responds like 3 minutes later?
3 minutes later, this was my voice.
Followed by, is he still your quarterback, Mike?
Yeah.
Is he still your
quarterback? I said, damn, Mike went dark.
I'm going to be honest with you. The second interception is one of the worst interceptions you'll ever see a quarterback throw. The first one is like, the third one is, the second one, you're just like, well, what was that?
The thing is, like, I don't blame Tannehill for that second interception. Like, he got, you vape the pain away. But, like, I don't blame Tannehill too much on that second interception because that's just a great play by the DB that was in his face.
That was a great play. That was a great play.
What is that play calling?
I didn't like the play call. It was it's hard because it was a horrible play call, but that was a phenomenal play. I mean, I can't really get mad at Tannehill for that because he timed it perfect, and the hops that he got on that to get that ball.
Y'all were doing like 8 yards a carry. The Bengals were not stopping you, and you go, you know what?
All.
We're getting close to the end zone.
Let's run a screen.
Not hand the ball off.
Let's run a wide receiver bubble screen. In what world does that make sense?
Who's calling plays for y'all? Fucking Adam Gase? Like, come on now. You had Adam Gase's Tannehill out there on Saturday, bro.
And then, despite all of it, we still had the ball. And I'm sitting here like, all right, maybe we'll take one shot and then we'll just run into overtime because our defense is on fire. Our defense is on fire right now. Yeah. Let's get to overtime and let's get these boys out of here. We do 2 running plays and then decide, oh, it's 3rd down. Let's throw the ball 30 yards down the field. And
Roz, I don't know about you, but I
not
got
only do you
Adam
throw the
Gase vibes.
you not only do you, and this is where it comes on Tannehill. Not only do you force the ball in, you don't force the ball to AJ Brown. You don't.
It honestly, like I feel so bad for the Titans defense, man. Like
They played to their ceiling and beyond.
They
nine
worked so hard.
sacks.
They worked so
Nine
hard.
sacks is like insane. Like 9 sacks is insane. 9 sacks is Joe Burrow is constantly
Ridiculous.
under siege. Like, you know, like, and the fact that, you know, like, I give credit to Joe Burrow for just saying, like, yo, I'm just going to keep chopping wood. Because a lot of quarterbacks, even the great ones, would have just folded. Would have just
Tom
been like,
Brady.
Tom Brady.
Whenever Tom Brady gets sacked 3 times, he's a completely different quarterback.
You start seeing dudes just going down. Like, you start seeing dudes sliding, going down. And
here's another Jets reference. You're seeing ghosts.
Yeah, man.
Ghosts.
9 touchdowns. I mean, 9 sacks, and then coming back and, you know, sticking with it. I mean, like, you know, the guys seems to be checking off all those special boxes, you know, like that you won the quarterback and the next big thing at quarterback. And, you know, like the Titans D got a really rough show. I think it's second to only, you know, Josh Allen just basically, you know, I don't feel bad for Josh Allen because of how he played in the ending. I feel terrible for him because it's the draw he got. You know, any other team he plays besides that team, they win.
They win.
The way that they played,
they win. And they might win handily.
2 master classes in defense. You had, and they're on 2 opposite ends of the spectrum. You have the Titans who balled out and their quarterback failed them. And then you have the Bills whose quarterback balled out and then the defense failed them.
But again, like it's I can't even get mad at the defense because it's like I can't, but
I can.
You can.
13 seconds, Ross.
13 seconds, but it's not just the defense, it's the play calling. Like the not scribbing the ball is weird. You know, like that's a weird thing. Like
it's weird, but I can justify that though. You can't drive down the field. You can't drive 75 yards in 13 seconds.
No, but
I can understand that.
It's 30 seconds, three timeouts. If you're going to kick the ball off, here's a problem, right? If you're going to kick the ball off, you're asking your kicker to make one of the toughest kicks in all of football, which is let's kick it high, let's kick it for a long way, kick it for a long hang time, and let's kick it to like the 10-yard line. That's a very difficult kick. Like I think that's second to making a perfect onside kick, right? And then like all of a sudden you kick it and it goes in the end zone. So now it's like no time gets off, right? The idea is you have to take some time off. You have to, because even if, let's say, you script the kick and they take off 3 seconds or 4 seconds, that's the difference between them calling that timeout at 3 seconds. You just can't take your chances just not getting them to take time off during the kickoff. Yes, the defense should not let them march down in 13 seconds, like 40 or 60 yards, whatever it is.
3 plays.
45.
Yeah, 3 plays in like
yards.
10 seconds. That is unacceptable.
It's unacceptable. But if you're following the game, right? If you're following the game, these teams, when they're playing like that, you have to say to yourself, if it's ever going to happen at any given time with any given team in any given situation, it would be what just happened, because neither team was barely punting. They were like literally just like, you're talking about massive chunk plays on both sides. Defenses are both gassed because it seems like, you know, like they're on the field all the time. The offense is going back and forth. And then you're saying to yourself, you know, like, my thing is like, you have to do your best to take it out of Patrick Mahomes' hands. If it means taking extra time or as much time as you can off, so be it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but again, like the defensive calls and Leslie Frazier and what he did is also pretty crazy, right? Like you're playing Travis Kelce, they have to get at least like 15 yards to even be in striking distance, and you play 20 yards off and let him just run a route in front of you.
That's what I'm like. How do you You can't play bump and run. Nothing like.
What do you guard in the sidelines?
So the Bills are the number one defense against the pass.
That's the
what were they doing?
Kelsey play.
Yeah,
that Kelsey play was unbelievable. That he was able to just sit.
That was fast, yo.
Defenders immediately.
Well, the defender was like 15 yards off. He
literally just ran to a spot.
Gave it up.
Inside curl.
There's two defensive coordinators that talk themselves out of head coaching jobs this week on Sunday alone. It was Leslie Frazier and it was Todd Bowles.
Yeah,
like unbelievable.
Cornerback has outside leverage to protect the sidelines for what? They have 3 timeouts.
But like Leslie Frazier in the first half did such a great job of taking away Kelsey and Tyreek Hill that Pat Mahomes had to use his legs. This is the situation where you want Pat Mahomes to use his legs.
Use his legs. Exactly.
Yeah. You go with what you got that got you there.
And then you let Tyreek you on a crosser for 20 yards and then Kelsey right there. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. That takes a master class away from Josh Allen. Like, granted, it is what it is. Pat Mahomes. I love Pat Mahomes, and shout out to me for getting 4 picks right this weekend, undefeated. Let's go. But like, it sucks because Josh Allen the whole time, while all of this is happening, is sitting there on the sidelines with his helmet on, ready to go, just look like he saw a goddamn ghost. And it's just like there's literally nothing else he could have done.
Yeah, I think
I literally don't see anything else that he could have done.
Yeah,
like Mike said it perfectly, where he was like, Josh Allen walked into the top 5 quarterback room.
Oh yeah.
And I think he cut in front of 3 people because it's Mahomes 1, and I think Josh Allen's 2.
I think so. Right now,
it might be. Brady
might be gone. Like you have a few guys that might.
And I think Burrow walked in there too. I think Burrow is 5. Yes. But I think he walked in.
I don't know yet right now.
I think Burrow walked in.
But it depends. If Brady retires, then Burrow probably goes in there.
Yeah.
And boy, let me tell you, if Brady retires, we are having a celebration pod. There's gonna be confetti. There's gonna be mariachi music. There's gonna be a bunch of DCs going down. Like it's gonna be like unbelievable.
Let me ask you, Dylan, let me ask you on a serious note, when it comes to that day coming, when it's the end of an era like that, do you give flowers or you just in full celebration that he's gone?
To hell.
Well,
really?
Here's the thing. I've given Tom Brady his flowers. I've given Tom Brady his flowers enough while he's playing. So that celebration day is a fuck you. Like, it's over. Like, the Wicked Witch is dead.
Really? Yeah, have you really? I just saw you in the chat when you was like,
it's always fucking
Tom
Brady.
Tom Brady, I see blood. Eat shit. Eat my ass, Tom Brady.
Yeah, eat my ass, Tom Brady.
And I see him start creeping back, and you're like, oh fuck,
I've
Tom
seen
Brady.
All this before.
I said it in the chat when they were getting their doors blown off, and Dylan had already started celebrating. I was like, nope. Evil never dies. Evil never dies. I need 000s on the clock. And sure enough, here he came, just like he always does.
Here's the thing, though. I can give my flowers and still hate a motherfucker.
I think Tom Brady definitely deserves the same commercial that Kobe got when it was like
100%.
I hate you commercial.
They're gonna go crazy.
Tom Brady has ruined many people's lives. He's a bad person. He's a cheater.
I don't know if he's a bad person. He's a cheater.
He's a cheater. He's a bad human being because he's made my life miserable. Janice asked me the other day. She's like, "Why do you hate Tom Brady so much?" I'm like, "You got how much time you got?" Like, it all started in the year 2000. Like, it started with us.
It's a run you won't see probably ever in the history of football. It's great. Tom Brady will not ever lack in flowers. He's gotten it every single step of the way. It seems like right now,
boy.
It's like Tom Brady is the one who tries to drum up the thing about him being the villain, and no one likes Tom Brady. And every time I see him play, the commentators are talking great about Tom Brady. Everyone's talking great about Tom Brady. It's been like that for almost the last 10 years. But Brady has this thing in his mind where it's like, oh, like I'm still the guy who got drafted in the 6th round, so
I'm the underdog.
But that's what makes him so much different.
No one gives me respect, but that's what makes him different. Yes, But this whole narrative that like everyone hates Tom Brady is like that's not true. I mean, you see it right now. Like the players come up to him, and I mean, like a player from the Jets asked for his autograph. Like like no one hates Tom Brady. Like it's different. Like maybe 10 years ago, it was like we hate Tom Brady.
Well, because it was Tom Brady and the evil Patriots empire.
He's
the thing I'm talking about is more to the disgruntled fans that he has tortured throughout the whole time of their fandom career.
Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback to ever play the game of football, but man, do I fucking hate him.
But that's
so
every
that's it.
That's every
it's
goat of
Nick
every
fans
sport.
and Michael Jordan. It's Titans fans and Peyton Manning. Like these are things that you go through, and as a fan of the opposition, God, fuck Tom Brady. Like fuck the success that you've had at my expense. Fuck all of this. Fuck these late game heroics against my teams that I still got to see literally 20 years later. The same thing happened of him on a final drive against the Jets and just win.
You know what I like in the whole Tom Brady thing too is like it's funny because it's like complete opposite. That like the actual places, but we're still dealing with the same general areas. Before they won the championship, I recall literally people like cursing out Mariano Rivera in Boston. Like I remember people literally saying like I hate the Yankees. I hate Mariano Rivera so much because he's such a good guy. He's such a good dude, and he absolutely just kills us. I remember some guy, the Yankees played one time, and I was watching the Boston game. I went out there to Yankee Stadium. And I remember this guy who was a Boston Red Sox fan literally screaming, he only has one pitch. One pitch. Why? You have one pitch. Like we can't hit it. One pitch.
Hit it.
Just hit it.
Hit it.
Like Tom Brady, like just beat him. You know he's coming. You know how many times we see him 1 minute on the clock, one time out.
Yeah.
We
all know he can't. We all know he can't. We all know he can't move out the pocket if you just.
But like, there's only one method of beating Tom Brady, and it's amazing that we've only seen it like 5 times.
Just
like,
up the middle
just
pressure.
rush him. Just get pressure in the middle.
Up the middle pressure.
You can get him to make a fast decision.
That's it.
Like, that's literally it. That's literally always been it, and yet nobody can figure it out.
Yeah.
Nobody can figure it out.
I knew Tom Brady was a GOAT when they came back against the Falcons, and it was one of the worst.
There's literally nothing else you could have done.
It was one of the worst things I've ever seen and witnessed as a Jets fan, but it was literally like a master class of quarterbacking because he probably threw I think probably a handful of plays were just run plays. He was just slinging it everywhere, like in the zone you never seen. And
look at Mike's face. He wants to cut you guys off and end this conversation.
I was
right now.
Ecstatic to the moon that whole Super Bowl, and then
Dylan,
Brady comes
me
back.
and Raj were texting during the game, just having a blast time. I'm at wonderful. James's house. I'm at James's house with all his Patriot friends, and it is dead silence. Just nothing.
Patriots fans, do you remember that, Mike? Correctly?
I remember.
Dylan, watch this. He does not remember it right because the Patriot fans that was in that house were only me, my ex-girlfriend at the time, and Dennis. Everybody else were not Patriots fans. If you think about it, Mike, me and my friend group, it's only me and Frenchie that are Patriots fans. Everybody else are Giants fans.
That was one of
Wayne,
the most ever.
I just remember
I was
the laughter in Flo's face. That's all I remember.
Julian Edelman catch.
That's all I remember.
Is one of the single worst plays I've ever seen in my life.
I was having a Super Bowl party and I didn't watch football at the time.
Literally.
I wasn't watching the game until the end of the fourth quarter.
Everything was a perfect storm.
When you and all of us that have been tortured by this man, we all saw it coming. You could see it coming a mile away because for some reason the Falcons just decided
Never to run the ball.
Never run the fucking ball.
Never run the ball again. We were gashing them in the first half, running the ball.
Do you think they got gassed out?
No, they just decided not to run the ball. Shanahan to this day,
they had running backs.
Kyle Shanahan
just changed.
The running backs were destroying them.
They decided to get into a shootout with Tom Brady.
It's the same bullshit that happened with Seattle. They decided, I got to get my quarterback the MVP. So let's just start padding his stats. And, well, Matt Ryan was not that guy.
Fumble, sack, strip sack. It was just too much. It was too much.
It was like the perfect storm in the first half where it's like LeGarrette Blount fumbles. They're just playing great defense like that. And that Falcons defense wasn't good. And they were playing great defense.
They were playing out of their mind. They were having the game of their lives.
And Devontae Freeman is having a game. Julio's having a great game.
Julio made an ungodly catch.
I'm getting sick just thinking about this shit.
I spoke to Mike. What day was that game? Saturday?
No, that was Sunday.
Tampa's game was Sunday. I spoke to Mike during the first half, and I said, "Who's winning?" He said, "The Bucs is getting doors blown off him right now." I said, "What quarter is it?" He said, "The third quarter is about to start." And what I say? "Oh, it's the first half." We all know Brady is a second half player.
Yeah, and you know
what that was? That was right before Akers fumbled at halftime. That was right before that, because I said if they score right now, this game's over.
They scored that Mike Evans touchdown off of blown coverage by Jalen Ramsey, just lost, churned like butter.
Yeah,
lost, and they're going in there. They're just trying to kill clock. And my brother shoots me a text. He's like, "Hey, Cam Akers is a fumbler."
The fumble was crazy.
Cam Akers is a fumbler. 30 seconds later, Ndamukong Suh rips that fucking ball out. And I'm sitting there. Janice comes in the room. She's sitting down. She goes, "What's happening?" She sees my face just, I'm pale. I'm sick. And she's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I've seen this too many times."
The fumble was just unreal. Like I was like, is this thing fixed? Like I was like, is this fixed?
But I'll tell you what, the best thing was Todd Bowles deciding he was going to get bowled. And everybody and their mother knew Cooper Kupp was getting the ball. Every play that drive. He makes homeboy drop off the line of scrimmage to get that catch on the sideline, which is unbelievable. And then he decides, you know what? I'm going to blitz, and then I'm going to put the safety on Cooper Kupp. And it's not like it's a veteran safety. It's Antoine Winfield Jr., who's in his second year in the NFL against one of the best route runners in football.
Well, one of the guys that he ran a route with, I don't know who that was. He looked like he tore his Achilles. He just dropped down to the floor.
Just sniper rifle, take him down. Done.
That play to the sideline, and that was just filthy route. I mean, he can't, I'm actually genuinely excited about the teams that are left because honestly, you have the improbable team, which is the Niners, and speak about that Niners game. How about everyone understanding that Aaron Rodgers in the offense just completely I think they had 50 something yards in the second half, complete just meltdown and just didn't show up. And the Niners,
and you know what sucks? They had that bad of an offensive performance. And they were going to win that game. If it wasn't for their special team miscues that happened all season long.
And it's the 49ers are going to make, I can't tell you, worst quarterback play by winning since, maybe we're going back to,
Dilfer.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Dilfer and Gerback and all those dudes like that. You're getting, that type of production. And they just keep winning. And
this
my brother's a 49ers
Jimmy G
fan.
Started off the game 0 for 9.
Yeah. My brother's a 49ers fan. He doesn't even know that the 49ers, he doesn't even know what's happening. He came into the season and said, "Oh yeah, we got Trey Lance. We got a quarterback in the future. We're rebuilding. We're good. We're good to go. Debo's back and all this other stuff like that." And then they go on this win streak towards the end of the season. They make the playoffs, and I'm like, all right, whatever. He's like, yeah, I'd prefer them to not, but whatever. For the draft picks, and then they win.
And then they're a game away from the Super Bowl.
And then they beat Green Bay, and I call him up, and he's just like in hysteria, screaming like, "What is happening?" He's like so conflicted. He's like, Jimmy G is terrible, but what is happening? Why are they winning? I don't know what's going to happen.
They have a legitimate chance to make the Super Bowl.
They have a legitimate chance,
and they own the Rams.
They own the Rams. They own the Rams.
I won't give Anthony kudos to anything in my
home
life,
game,
but I'll give Anthony kudos for picking the Niners to go to the Super Bowl, because I told him out of all the teams, I said it on this pod. I'll put the clip on
3
TikTok,
episodes
whatever.
in a row now.
Yep, where it's just like I think the Niners team can make the most noise out of everyone.
Here's our updated brackets. A lot of ink on there.
But like, man, that team is just built. It's bad quarterback 101. It's Mark Sanchez 101, where it's like you go in, you run the football, you play great defense, you win football games. That's literally it. Make your throws when you need to, but make the stops when they matter.
3 yards in a cloud of dust, man. They're winning. And this is a home game. LA really doesn't have that much of a home field advantage, because
for either LA team,
those Niner fans are going to show up, and they travel. They will show up, and it will be like it'd be a lot. But I mean, I just can't imagine if the Niners make the Super Bowl. I'd
be sick to my stomach, because the Niners wanted Jimmy G to be awful all year.
Mm-hmm.
All year they wanted an excuse to play Trey Lance.
That's why you should be rooting for them.
They traded up
for them for the drama.
They traded up. They gave up draft picks to go get Trey Lance, and they wanted him to be in the games and play and do all this stuff. Yet Jimmy G's out here with a ligament tear in his thumb and all this other stuff, and he's just handing the ball off and winning football games. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Those and you know what? Like, the AFC is just going to be like, it's going to be.
The AFC is the gold mine of quarterback.
The AFC is going to be
for the next 20 years
again in offense, because you have like high-powered offenses. High-powered offenses going in. You have literally the Bayou Boys. Oh yeah. Get the gat. And you know what's crazy? I mean, like, again, like, not to, I would be remiss to not make my little Jets plug in here, but only the Jets, right?
We beat both of those teams.
Only the Jets, right? Only the Jets to need a quarterback in possibly one of the most, like, loaded skill position drafts. And I mean, these guys are like Hall of Fame talents. Like, and this top 10 has the potential to be pretty sick. Lawrence, Lance, if he reaches his potential, Wilson, Chase, Sewell, which everybody was worried about, is an absolute rock and a
dog.
Beast. Pitts is an absolute dog. Waddle is a dog. Like, all these guys are just good. Like if you just threw a dart in the top 5,
Horn,
Patrick
Surtain.
If you just threw a dart in the top 10, you are getting a borderline. You hit. You hit, and here the Jets come. Like always, we're just like dragging ourselves in. We need a quarterback, and then when we need a wide receiver, we have all these picks this year, and now we don't even know who's going to go in the top 3, because everyone's saying no one deserves to be a top 3 pick. It's just, I just throw my hands up. Yeah, we deal with the cards we dealt with, but
I don't know if you heard my take on this. I don't know if you heard my take on this, but since the Bengals and the Titans both played, whoever wins is in the AFC Championship game, right? That's how it works. That just means we're in the AFC Championship game, because we beat both of those teams. So
Jets Bowl.
It was the Can't Beat the Jets Bowl, and in case anybody forgot, we beat both of those asses like a drum. We beat the Titans with our starters, and we beat the Bengals with Mike White.
13 weeks in a row, Mike.
13 weeks in a row, ladies and gents. Beat that ass like a drum.
Yeah.
You better hope football season ends. That's what you're hoping for.
I'm every season. I'm gonna remind Michael because whenever we don't play, I gotta remind him that we beat that ass like a drum the last time we played.
Sean Payton's gone. We have a lot of influx. Like Sean Payton's gone, man. I'm super shocked about that. It's not so much as me thinking he wasn't going to leave, but the timing of it. I mean, the Saints are in really bad shape. They're in
very random.
The Saints are in really bad shape, man. And it's
like I saw the video of the owner being asked about Sean Payton because like nobody knew that Sean Payton was like contemplating like retiring or leaving or resigning, whatever the hell it is. Nobody knew. And then they asked the Saints owner at some function, and she's like, nobody knows really what's going on with Sean.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, all right, cool. Imagine being the city of New Orleans right now and just feeling abandoned.
And that's what people are rumbling with, James. They're saying that he's going to stay in for 1 year, and then he's going to try to find a way to get back into Dallas. That's what they're trying to say, and I hope that's not the case. But
Mike McCarthy's seat is awful hot.
Oh, it's on fire.
It's hot. It's hot.
It's on fire.
They got to start fast next year, or
he has to win the Super Bowl.
No, because they're so awful in the playoffs. Trust me, an NFC Championship appearance is.
They're losing a lot of guys this year.
We'll fix that.
They're losing a lot of guys on the defensive side of the ball this year.
Like, I'm be quite honest with you, if he stays this next year and they don't win the Super Bowl, Mike McCarthy's gone regardless. With Sean Payton queued up,
I don't think there's a world Mike McCarthy isn't fired at the end of next season.
Yeah, like
I don't think so, because the Cowboys are the Cowboys.
Well, he doesn't have Jerry doesn't have a relationship with Mike McCarthy that he did with Jason Garrett.
But Jerry's not going to let a Super Bowl winning coach just get fired like that.
No,
I don't think we've ever seen that. Like a Super Bowl winning coach.
If he wins the Super Bowl, it's different. But like any other outcome besides Super Bowl, he's got to go.
Yeah, he's done. He's
got to go.
He's done. And you know what's crazy is that New Orleans now, right? Because if you think Sean Payton, and this is why I don't like how Sean Payton did it. You know what I'm saying? But if Sean Payton knows that he even has an inclination that he's going to possibly not be here for the rebuild and not be here for another year, they have to start making those moves last year. You don't do what you did last year, restructuring, paying.
You have to start the rebuild. You have to bring in the youth.
You know, like you could have considered trading up for a Trey Lance. You could have at least made a try to do something, and it's not. He rolled off with Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston and Trevor Siemian, I think, is on that team, if I'm not mistaken. And you pay all these guys. Now you're wondering how can you pay more or keep them. The draft capital isn't really anything spectacular, and you don't have like a head coach. I mean,
I think they're okay with who they're so the Saints defensive coordinator is obviously going to be the guy who's taking over. And the 1 or 2 games that he was put at the helm this year, they balled out and their defense was spectacular, right? But the thing is, you have your money wrapped up in Cam Hayward, Marshawn Lattimore, Demario Davis, and your whole offensive line, Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, $36 million in 3 quarterbacks. Like, you're in a weird spot. All this shows to me is Michael Thomas is on the trade block, Marshawn Lattimore, Casey Hayward, or Cam Hayward are all like potentially being shopped.
I heard that they're also interviewing Jets great Aaron Glenn.
I love Aaron Glenn
for the head coaching position,
which is weird because their defensive coordinator should be the guy who gets that job, but he's taking over a shit show, a dumpster fire.
I believe Aaron Glenn is the defensive coordinator for the Lions, if I'm not mistaken.
Mike, cut the shit.
You know? I mean, hey, whatever floats your boat.
Aaron Glenn was a pretty darn good player.
He was a good DB.
Here we go. The spiral down the Jets talk.
He was.
I don't have anything against the guys, by the way.
The only worse place to be right now than in New Orleans, Louisiana, is in Green Bay, Wisconsin, where that whole organization is an absolute flux because Aaron Rodgers is more than likely not coming back.
They can't pay him to stay, I don't think.
He won't stay. I think he retires, personally. I don't think he plays football next year. I think he retires. I think he's done.
I think it depends on what happens with the market.
I think it's situational, but like if there's a situation where it's not right, he won't. He's going to go to a situation where he can win.
Be on the lookout for Miami and San Francisco.
I was running with the idea that Tom Brady
Tennessee
retires and Tampa makes a run for Aaron Rodgers.
Both Florida teams.
But Tampa's also in a situation where they don't have a lot of money and all of their people are free agents.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a weird situation. 3 of the usually premier jobs in the NFL where it's like, okay, Green Bay's usually solid organization for the most part. New Orleans has been creme de la creme when it comes to how the organization has been run, right up there with the Patriots for years. And it's just like, all right, now everything's in flux. The Packers have Devontae Adams they got to pay, Jair Alexander they got to pay, Rashawn Gary they got to pay. They paid, what's his face, running back,
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones. You have Jordan Love and AJ Dillon and a weird wide receiver room. Your DBs are good. You drafted Stokes to replace Jair because you cannot afford Jair anymore because now he's going to be commanding 17, 18 mil and is going to be one of the top corners on the market. You still don't have linebackers. Your edge rushers are aging and are going to be cut for cap room.
The Packers are in trouble.
They're in a lot of trouble. They're going from Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers for 20-something years of just winning football to their first average quarterback in like 30 years.
Yep.
And
you mentioned Tennessee, and
I think Tennessee's an option.
If you would have told me 6 months ago that the Titans had a chance to get Aaron Rodgers, my Aaron Rodgers, on my team, I'd have sold the farm for it.
You still have
now we get to, and this is going to transition right into our next subject, the moral compass clause, effect of it. Because I am very conflicted. Aaron Rodgers is, as I've stated on this show, he's the best thrower of the football I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen anyone throw the ball like him. Patrick's coming. He is gaining steam.
The one.
But as of right now,
he's the
today,
chosen one.
He might be. It's still Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has, in my opinion, revealed himself to not be a great guy. Not be a great guy. I'm very conflicted.
Tom Brady's not a great guy either.
I don't know if he's sniffing what Aaron Rodgers is sniffing, though.
He's pretty similar.
They might be. You're right. They might be very similar. I really don't know. Do I think Aaron Rodgers on my Titans right now is a Super Bowl? I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Mm-hmm.
I do. And now we get back to, is it worth it? I don't know, because I don't know how I would feel. I'd be along for the ride. I'd be all for it.
Here's the thing: Aaron Rodgers isn't like AB level asshole. His morals are, you could question them, but like at the end of the day, you know he's not going to just take his shoulder pads off in the middle of the game and start doing jumping jacks in the end zone, saying goodbye to people during a game. Like, you know, Aaron's going to be there. Is he going to be a condescending asshole and lie about certain things? Yeah, but he's a decent enough person to like where you could put it aside a little bit.
Which because is what I probably would have to do because he's damn good.
He's damn good, and like I don't think you could. The AB situation is a little bit different because we have years of stuff to stockpile on, but I don't think you can use one situation to really define somebody's character like that weird ass situation. It's weird. It's weird.
But like, to be honest,
You can't overshadow one situation.
But I'm not. But here's the thing: we have years of Antonio Brown. Years.
It's the talent, man. It's talent,
literal
though.
years of it. Where it's
risk,
like
that's the risk you are willing to take just to get the talent, though.
Exactly. Yeah. But like, I could brush off Aaron Rodgers being a dickhead. I can't brush off Antonio Brown being a complete shithead everywhere he's been throughout his career.
Yeah,
and proving to be unprofessional as well. Yeah, granted, I don't think lying is very professional, but he's more so throughout his tenure in Green Bay been incredibly professional, just like his family hates him. Or he hates his family and doesn't really want to be around him.
I mean, there's been... I mean, where do you guys want to go? I mean,
well, yeah, I mean, that
leads
us... Go ahead.
No,
I was going to say that leads us to the news of Antonio Brown stating on the I am an athlete. I am an athlete. I know it's Brandon Marshall thing. The Brandon Marshall podcast.
Boy B Marsh. JETS.
Shout out to B Marsh.
That he would
there, he has his hair all tied up and he has a champagne little.
Yeah. I love Brandon Marshall, man. I've always loved Brandon Marshall.
Brandon's an interesting dude. He's entertaining. Very entertaining. That he would love to go to Baltimore. And and Lamar Jackson liked it.
Of course he'll like that.
He'd be the best wide receiver to ever play for the Baltimore Ravens. Like, literally ever. And he's the only wide receiver that would be on that roster that can actually get open. The only problem is, what happens when the real Lamar Jackson shows up and he's running for 20 yards and AB's like, yo, I'm open. Or he overthrows the ball a little bit because, like, I'm not going to sit here. We're not going to sit here and say Lamar is the most accurate quarterback, right? But, like, what if he sails it over him by, like, a foot or an inch? Like, how is AB going to react there?
Or how is AB going to react when they run the ball 40 times a game? And then the 4 targets that he gets, one of them's a bad throw. One of them he might get held on.
Or Lamar puts you in a bad spot in the middle of the route.
And they lose the game. And they lose the game by a field goal. Mm-hmm. Then what happens? Then what happens? Because
AB has been in fantastic situations his whole career.
His track record says he's going to go to fuck off.
Mm-hmm. But the question for me is also Greg Roman. So as of the last pod, they fired their defensive coordinator.
Yep.
Yeah, Wink.
Why? That's the wrong coordinator to fire. Like, why?
Well, to be quite honest, even though they're decimated with injuries, the Ravens did have the worst defense.
Their defense was trash.
Well, they had the worst defense in all of football. Which is crazy because the Jets had a really bad defense.
But, like,
the Ravens were even
I don't know. I thought Wink was fine. I thought Greg Roman, he can scheme wide receivers open. And you have speed demons at wide receiver. I've seen Sammy Watkins for a decade get open on every team he's ever played for.
Exactly. A decade.
And even his most recent trip in Kansas City. Even his most recent trip in Kansas City, he was getting open.
Because he had Tyreek Hill and Kelsey next to him.
Still created separation. Just because you have Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelsey doesn't mean you don't create separation from your corner. It's not like Sammy Watkins is getting double teamed. He's not.
I tend to give Greg Roman a break because he literally seems to be the only offensive coordinator I've ever seen that has looked at his quarterback and looked at his talent and go, oh, this is what we're good at, so this is what we're going to do. Instead of, this is my system and we're going to play it my way because I said so.
I respect that. But you could also bring in another guy who is willing to accommodate. That's the thing, because when you have a guy who's as dynamic as Lamar Jackson is, if you're not going to scheme up run plays for him, you're stupid. You're an absolute stupid person.
But at the same time, Hollywood Brown could be as fast as he wants. But is Hollywood Brown really a number one receiver?
No, but he's also not really getting open.
It's a bust pick. We're not talking enough about that because the Ravens are always supposed to be, oh yeah, Ozzy had
Hollywood Brown is the most Raider pick of all time.
He's a terrible pick.
He's not. He's a two. He's a two.
He's really a slot. He's not a two.
He might even be a three. Yeah, he might even.
My problem with Hollywood Brown is he's that fast. He can't create separation. And when he gets the step on somebody, he has some of the worst hands I think I've ever seen.
That's what I mean. That's why I think Lamar gets a. That's why I think Lamar gets a bad rap. That's why I think Lamar gets a bad rap because when he throws the ball to Andrews, Andrews seems to catch it.
I used to hate on Andrews. I think Andrews took a massive step towards being like a legitimate top 3 tight end in football.
Might be.
Because he, to me, before would just sit in between zones and wait for Lamar to run right so he could throw crossbody to him, just sitting by himself. This year, I actually saw him like get open in the middle of routes, and Lamar and the other dude just actually getting him the football in space. So I'm like, okay, I think Andrews is the real deal. I'll eat L on that one. I'll eat an L on that. But
that's what I mean. So to your point, yes, Antonio Brown walks in. He's instantly the best receiver on the team. Just off paper, just rip best receiver on the team.
Mm-hmm.
But does that change the style that they play? Does Greg Roman change it because he actually has a competent wide receiver on the team? I don't know.
If anything, that opens up the door for Hollywood.
Yeah.
Getting AB opens up the door for Hollywood, and that's what they want more than anything. Especially since AB and Hollywood are cousins. But I also see that as a potential problem. If you put those two on the same team together and AB has a mishap, what's Hollywood supposed to do in those situations?
Yeah, he's got a little cousin.
Yeah, because they're going to look at Hollywood to fix it. Yep. They're going to look at him like
that just puts him in a terrible situation. Man.
Yeah, it's a bad mix, but I mean, like
it would be dynamic. It would be awesome. Like I'd play with the Ravens and Madden so much if that happened. But like, not happen.
So let me ask you a question. So me and James were talking about this: the Kansas City Buffalo game. If you look on paper, Stephon Diggs didn't really do shit in that game.
He was getting doubled all game,
but his impact on the game got my man 4 touchdowns.
Of course.
Stephon Diggs, while he didn't catch much, completely impacted the game, and they should have won because of his presence on the field, getting him 4 touchdowns.
It's Don Maynard in Super Bowl 3.
Is Antonio Brown capable of being like, well, I didn't get my numbers, but my man got his and we won? Because I feel like Antonio Brown would be pissed off.
We saw that with Juju.
Exactly. He hated Juju. He hated him.
Boo boo.
To be fair, he wasn't lighting up the playoffs when the Bucs won the Super Bowl. You didn't hear anything from him then. You know, like he was a good soldier then. He wasn't like the leading receiver or anything like that during their run.
I also don't know how AB works in an established culture. Like we saw it in Pittsburgh, where you have the Steeler way and Tomlin and all that stuff, and he tended to lean a little left on that and do shit he wasn't supposed to do. Oakland at the time was not a culture place at all. He goes to Tampa, where they kind of established a culture the last like 6 weeks of that season, where this is Tom Brady's team and you keep moving. And then he started veering away from it. The Ravens are a culture.
They needed him.
The Ravens are a culture. How do you adapt to it, and how long does he last if that's where he goes? It's just like with the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
It's cultures and like that. The way the Ravens do things have worked for 20-something years, and they're not going to change.
Not for Antonio Brown.
Not for Antonio Brown. Will Antonio Brown change for the Ravens culture? Who knows? Maybe he will.
I don't mean to veer off a little bit, even though it's still the same. I'm still talking about Antonio Brown, but I don't want to put too much stake into this hit that everybody's talking about. But is it really that significant that I never really heard anything from Antonio Brown or any like mishaps or anything like that till a certain point of when he was in Pittsburgh to like towards the end when he wanted out? Is that is that inconclusive to the time that he received that hit that everyone's talking about?
Yes, it was after.
It was. I think it was. Yeah. So there was this whole thing I was watching, and it was a whole video on YouTube. Like I'm not going to get into
Or you
speculation,
got the YouTube investigators?
yeah, they were saying like
Yeah.
after like how he was, and like they had like a series of interviews before he got that actual concussive hit from Vontaze Burfict,
Which
and
was a nasty
he
hit, by
looked,
the
and
way.
I mean, like if you were to look at just that string of interviews, and you were to look at that as your sample, I mean, he's completely night and day to where he was right now, AB. And after that, you start seeing the things where he's like, jumping on, I think, IG or whatever it is in the middle of the locker room, and Mike Tomlin's giving a speech and he's like, yo, yeah, throwing whatever, do whatever he's doing. Then he starts becoming a malcontent over time. And people were thinking, like, hey, maybe it's like the brain, maybe it's like some type of like, he has some type of, issue from that hit. Like he's never the same. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm sure the people who are doing that aren't doctors, but a lot of investigations and research is going into CTE, and we already know that these symptoms are manifesting while they're still alive, even though a lot of the CTE diagnosis happened, post mortem. It's just like it's scary, and it's also like you can't really pinpoint it, right? Because we're still in the infancy of trying to figure out how do we go about evaluating people who we might surmise have CTE and players who have CTE. Because if you come to find out, like, I mean, and I'm sure the NFL players that will still sign up for the NFL, but if you come out and find out, you get the silver bullet, the smoking gun, and say, hey, listen, like, these amount of hits, or we can do a brain scan right now of all these players, and we can actually find a way to show them what level of CTE they have or anything like that. That's going to devastate the NFL. That's going to absolutely devastate the NFL, and they're fighting that, and like they're hoping and praying that that doesn't become a thing where they can diagnose that while people are actually still alive and playing, because you're going to have a lot more like Patrick Willis type of things where people are just like dipping out
At 29
at
years old in their prime.
26, 25. Like, nah, man, I
Got
want
my
to
one contract. I'm out.
be able to be myself for the rest of my life. These guys are playing right now without knowing what's really going to happen to them when they turn 50 and 60. But they're like, you know what? I don't care. Like, I'm going to be able to just like live the life that I want, that I've always had. And it's worth whatever sacrifice it's going to be.
My favorite thing about the Antonio Brown like CTE conversation was the fact that he went out there. He was like, I don't got CTE. You know how many people they got, or what's wrong with the people that got CTE? They're all dead. I'm alive. So that just completely disqualifies him from the CTE conversation. So I'm like, all right, well,
yeah, during that interview.
that was a nasty little conversation, Antonio. I'm glad you're an expert.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he was trying to make a point on that you only can test it because they're dead.
Yeah.
Can't do anything till then. But yeah, man. Roz, before you go, these are the remaining picks of ours to the Super Bowl. And this is the remaining lasting playoff picture. Who you got going, man, before you head out?
We got Kansas City, LA, man. I'm going to go. It's definitely tough.
Last and four, he says KCLA.
KCLA in the Super Bowl. And we'll talk, I guess, next time about whether, I don't know if I'm supposed to make my Super Bowl pick right now as a Super Bowl winner, but
No, I'll let you save it until after you see the championship games.
yeah, we'll do KCLA. That's what I'm going with in the Super Bowl.
Good job.
All right, Roz. Take care, brother.
Yeah, man. See you soon, guys.
I would just like to take a moment to congratulate me for throughout the playoffs. The only L I've taken is the Dallas Cowboys. Besides that, I have predicted every game correctly. And boy, it's great being me and being just so wonderful at predicting things. And it's even better because my two favorite quarterbacks in the NFL are playing on Sunday, and Pat Mahomes and Joe Burrow. It's just a lovely time to be me. Guys, if you guys are making bets, I'm 7. Oh, I think I'm 7-1. Yeah, I'm 7-1 in the last 2 weeks. So maybe sprinkle some money line picks on what I will say. Maybe not. Fade me. And you'd be a loser. You'd be a fucking loser. Because I'm 7-1. 7-1.
What is that bracket? I'm actually not doing that horribly. I got the Raiders game wrong. I got that right. I got that right. I got that right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4-2 in the AFC. 5, 6, and 7. I am 7-3. How are you 7-1 and I'm 7-3?
I think I'm wrong with the number, but I definitely only have one wrong. So if you're 7-3, that means I'm.
That would make you
9-1.
That would make you 9-1.
9-1. Fade me if you wanna, fucking losers. 9-1.
So I mean, you know,
I'm not
doing too bad.
I'm not going to reinvent the wheel here with my picks either. I'm just going. Are we giving picks now, or are we waiting?
Well, Rob gave his pick.
Rob gave his.
Yeah.
I don't think San Francisco could beat LA a third time. I think the Rams coming off that hot victory over the fucking greatest quarterback of all time in Tom Brady is hot. They're a hot team. And Dominican Sue's the GOAT. Give me the Rams. And give me my homeboy in the Super Bowl. In the superb owl. Chiefs, Rams.
I don't watch football, as you guys know. But if I were
that qualifier.
Yeah, man, I gotta. It's the truth. I gotta let you guys know that I'm picking blindly and off of hearsay. From what I've heard, I feel like the Bengals can't stick with the Kansas City Chiefs scoring wise. I think that Mahomes and their offense is just like too much. They're not going to be able to keep up. Even if it's a close game, I just don't think they're going to outscore them. I see the Chiefs winning points wise. And
before you continue, James, I would like to point out that I think it was week 17 or week 18. The Bengals played the Chiefs, and they came back from being down like 24 points to win like 44 to like 37. So they have the firepower to do so.
Playoffs is different. We all know that.
I understand. I just like to throw that out there.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to go with that. And, hey, I mean, it would be good to have to see the 49ers make it. But, yeah, I think the LA Rams with OBJ and all their other weapons that they got, it might be too much to stick with them right now. So I see Kansas City, LA as well.
I hate agreeing with y'all. And I hate even more that you're all jumping on this Rams bandwagon after I, for weeks, have been on this Rams bandwagon.
I've been on the Stafford bandwagon his whole career.
Driving the train. And I picked the Rams to go to the Super Bowl. So I will be sticking with that. And I really want to pick Cincinnati, but they beat Tennessee, so fuck them. Kansas City, LA.
Kansas City by 1 billion.
I don't care how much they score.
Oh.
I got a stat for you guys that I want to throw on the screen. Patrick Mahomes has been to 4 straight AFC championships. He's been the Chiefs starting quarterback for 4 years.
Yeah.
So here's what I will say about this. Patrick Mahomes has already been 2 more Super Bowls than Aaron Rodgers. He has a better record in the AFC Championship games than Aaron Rodgers does in the NFC Championship games. Yet, we like to put Aaron Rodgers in this category of being one of the greatest of all time when he's just Drew Brees.
Ooh.
Meanwhile, Pat Mahomes is out here actually doing GOAT shit and is being cool as hell while doing it. Granted, his brother sucks and his wife's a little annoying, and we have to see them on social media all the time, but Pat Mahomes is something different, man.
Because it's the conversation of like LeBron and Steph, because people like Steph Curry because he's cool and he's taking all these far threes and he's revolutionizing the game, and LeBron has been to all these Super Bowls and championships and haven't won as many, and he's just a legend in the game, has been in the game forever. It's the same comparison.
Well, I was getting this from Aaron Rodgers after like they won that Super Bowl with that, but in case people forget, that absolutely stacked defense that destroyed the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rodgers could have just handed the ball off all game and they would have won.
Come on.
But here's the thing. Have we seen Aaron Rodgers win without a stacked defense?
Has he had a defense that good since?
I wouldn't say as good because he had 4 Hall of Famers on that defense.
But I mean, even remotely close to that.
Last year's defense was good.
I would say last year's defense was probably the best defense he's had since then.
Mm-hmm.
And they barely lost. I mean,
and Rodgers loves losing with home field advantage.
He has lost a lot in Green Bay. He has
for somebody
for a franchise that never lost in that building. They never would lose in that building. Aaron does have.
Aaron's lost to the Niners 3 times in the playoffs alone.
Yeah, well, he's 0-4 against them. Yeah, 3 in
before this last game.
3 in Lambeau, 1 in San Francisco, where Colin Kaepernick absolutely punched them in the throat.
They did not know how to stop a read option, and Cap just ate. And he goes out 2 years ago after that loss in San Fran. It's like, man, things are a lot different if we have home field advantage. Guess what? You had home field advantage in the cold, in the snow. The team from California walked into Lambeau and played Lambeau football, Green Bay Packer football,
and walked out and got the dub. I mean, now granted that the Aaron apologists will say, Aaron, they blocked the punt for a touchdown. There's nothing else he literally could do nothing else in that situation. But I would say should have scored more than 10 points.
You should have been able to hit your other receivers. Granted, your other receivers aren't great, but you should have been able to hit them. Devontae Adams had 9 catches for 90-something yards.
He was
the only one. But Lazard disappeared. All these other guys just disappeared. A.J. Dillon broke his ribs, and he's the guy you want running the football in the snow. But, these are all excuses when you're one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. If this is Tom Brady, everybody would just be like, come on, man. You're Tom Brady.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, man. You're Aaron Rodgers. But this is what we expect from Aaron Rodgers. Take Aaron Rodgers out of the Tom Brady category and drop him down to the Drew Brees category, please. Thank you.
Which is still a
great company to be in. One of the greatest quarterbacks ever. But go ahead and drop that thing down. Show Pat Mahomes all the love in the world.
What is this graphic you have here for me, James? What's going on here? Oh, we have the Super Bowl officiating crew. Not him.
Where's my guy Hockey Lee?
I don't really know much, but I thought it would be interesting to have up there.
That's cool. We're gonna have a lot of penalties.
A lot of penalties, a lot of flags. Flag. You get a flag. You get a flag. You get a flag.
He called. What game did he call this weekend? I think he called the Bucks game.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, whatever. Moving on to basketball.
Yes.
What do we got first up on the docket? Oh, Lakers news.
It's amazing
Lakers.
what happens when you kind of start winning games and you're allowed to like coach the way you're supposed to coach, where it's like if your players aren't playing well, you sit them.
And they know that, and they know that there's consequences and repercussions if they don't play well.
Mm-hmm.
Funny how that plays out.
It's insane. Like, good for Vogel. Like, I never thought Vogel was a terrible coach, but like, I do think his lineups sometimes are sus. But like, when you're winning games, winning heals all.
It heals everything. Oh well, I mean, Russ has a contract that you cannot trade him.
But apparently, Houston is okay with doing that trade.
And
he ain't going back to Houston.
Well, he would get bought out immediately. They came out and were like, hey, if they facilitated a John Wall for Russell Westbrook trade, they would just buy out Russ immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, all right, I think it's a win for the Lakers.
I don't know if John Wall really
it doesn't change anything.
Yeah,
it doesn't change anything, but at least you get somebody who plays a little different than Russ's style of basketball. You get somebody who could shoot a little better. You get somebody who can facilitate. I'm not saying Russ can't facilitate, but you get somebody who can facilitate at the same level or arguably a higher level because he could create.
I think with Russ, like I said before in the prior episodes, that like now Frank Vogel, like you just said, Podcast Poppy, that he's trying out new lineups and he's trying to actually coach. And with that being said, he'll be able to put Russell Westbrook in a better situation because the Lakers, they're an older team and they need more firepower than anything. And when Vogel is putting Russell Westbrook on the court with Russell Westbrook, Avery Bradley, LeBron, Trevor Ariza, and Dwight Howard, who's scoring on that lineup? That's all defense, and there's no other playmaker, and there's no slashers. You're asking Avery Bradley to sit in the corner and maybe take 3 shots the entire game. Dwight Howard's not giving you any offense like that, and Trevor Ariza is only 3-and-D, barely. He's probably gonna take 3 shots as well. So when Westbrook is there to like drive and kick, he's not really. Who is he kicking it to?
He's kicking it to cold shooters.
Exactly. So those lineups don't complement his game. You got to put him out there with a THT that's more of a scorer, which we just saw that THT might have torn his Achilles. Actually, did y'all see that?
No.
Yeah,
I didn't. But
that just came out from the game that just went off. And you put him out there with him, put him out there with Melo, LeBron, and then Dwight Howard. Even though there's a lack of defense there, but at least you got him out there with some scorers that can do something. You know, so he
sometimes the best defense is better offense.
Yeah. So,
but I don't know. I've never been a fan of Westbrook's style of play. Like, I love that he like tries hard. That's super sick, and like it's cool for my son who plays sports to see that. Hey, you could, if you work hard and like try your best, shit can happen.
Yeah, good things happen.
Good things can happen, but like he's not very good at basketball, skill wise.
I have a stat up here as well that I told Mike that this was a secret. I wanted to show this to Roz, but I didn't. I was unaware of his early dismissal today. But this stat right here is all situational, but it's interesting.
I could hear, but I understand it.
But
I understand it. When one person is shooting significantly farther from the basket than the other, you're not going to make them all. And then Steph also had that stretch where he was shooting awful.
Yeah.
As well. So
he was like 4 for 20 something for a few games.
And Russ's field goal percentage should be higher because he takes shots closer to the rim, primarily. Besides his like dodo bird like pull up threes with 4 seconds off the shot clock, or the random mid-range pull-ups that he doesn't hit as consistently as he used to. So, like, I don't know, he should have a higher field goal percentage. So, I expect that. I wouldn't even say that's a secret. That's expected. Because any basketball fan who sees that gets it. They understand why that is.
We know what's going on. We know what's happening.
We get it.
But yeah, I mean, let's get to
what's next.
Let's get to what we all came here for, what we all been waiting for. Dylan's weekly Nets rant.
Oh
no, we'll save that thug for later.
That thug. First of all, fuck James Harden.
Oh, yep, starting out hot.
I'm so sick of his ass.
Yep, this might be a solo stream.
He's this inconsistent motherfucker has the nerve to say that he doesn't like living in Brooklyn, he doesn't like Steve Nash's style and all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. I get being unhappy with Kyrie being a part-time player. Like, I get that. Like, if you're okay with that, cool. But if you're also, like, upset with it, I get it. I understand. But that doesn't excuse the fact that he's been one of the most inconsistent players all season. All season. Where you like tonight, we had a 33-point triple-double out of James Harden, right? But the night before, he's struggling to put 18 on the board. And he has like 9 turnovers. And his pacing is off. He's been really weird when it comes to initiating the offense. Granted, you can chalk that up to Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving not being on the fucking court and not having your floor spacers and Joe Harris playing as well. But, like, there's no excuse for a superstar in James Harden, who I've seen carry a team filled with Eric Gordon and Ryan Anderson, PJ Tucker and Trevor Ariza and Robert Covington. And
I will not take any Eric Gordon slander here, sir.
But is he unbelievable? Is he an unbelievable player? Unbelievable?
No.
No, he's good. He's good. He's a good player, but he's not a superstar. All these guys here are like B- to C+ tier players on the offensive side of the ball. They all can shoot pretty well. That's really it. Eric Gordon, having all those injuries in the early half of his career, turned him from a slasher to a 3-point shooter. And I saw James Harden, all these triple doubles, blah, 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 scoring 50 points and winning games and all this stuff, yet he's struggling to get 16 to 22 points a night on a consistent basis. So we were saying this on the in the little warm up before we got out here. What is the difference if I were to trade James Harden for Ben Simmons and Seth Curry? Where I know Ben Simmons is going to give me 18, 9, and 9, or 9, anywhere between 7 and 9, which is literally all James Harden's given me. The only difference is I'm not going to get somebody who could shoot, and I'm not going to get somebody who's going to shoot free throws.
I think the game plan scheme is different, though.
It's different.
That's what it is.
But I also get a guy who's going to play defense, and a defensive lineup where you have Ben Simmons, Kevin Durant in that lineup is already a lot better than James Harden and Kevin Durant.
It's a pick your poison type of thing, because when they scheme, then it's like, all right, we might get somebody that's going to play harder defense against us, but we just scheme to back off of this guy. What is he going to do?
Exactly. That's what you have to
He's going to give the ball to Kevin Durant. That's what he's going to do. He's going to give the ball to Kevin Durant.
Effectively, all
Simmons in this situation, if you swap it now with Kevin Durant being out 4 to 6 to maybe 8 weeks, then what?
You would do this at the end of the season.
If he gets injured, if any of the top players get injured, your top scorers get injured, then who does he have to give the ball to?
Are we gonna sit here and act like we haven't seen Ben Simmons play by himself without like Tobias Harris and Joel Embiid and still put it like 25?
Exactly. Why are we acting like Ben Simmons is a bum? Like, I don't understand this idea that
Ben Simmons has this hate because of the mentality of him being kind of soft.
The man can play.
I don't take nothing
He's
away
in space.
about. I don't take nothing away from his talent. I just think that mentally, just like Dylan had mentioned about another player in a different sport turns into a mental midget in the playoffs. I listened, Dylan. He turned into a mental
This guy
midget in the
gets it.
playoffs where like he just shrinks and his game shrinks with it. Like we've
You
seen
know
him
who
play.
also is a mental midget in the playoffs that is currently on the Nets roster?
James
Who's
Harden.
that?
James Harden.
Yeah,
So it's like we swap out one mental midget for another. Like it's,
but you need offense.
but you
need
also so that James Harden trade won't just be a flat out Ben Simmons for James Harden trade. It would be a Ben Simmons and like Seth Curry for James Harden, and then contractually that's kind of how it has to be, because if you're Philly, are you going to give up Tyrese Maxey?
Nope.
No. If you're Philly, are you going to give up Matisse Thybulle? No.
Probably not.
He's on the board. He's on the block.
He's on the board, but you're not going to get rid of one great defensive player and another great defensive player on top of it.
They were gonna give up that Thibault, Ben Simmons, and Tobias Harris, and a first round pick. So what team was that?
Portland.
I thought it was the Kings, and they were gonna get Buddy
the
Hield. Yeah, like
they were going to get more than one player.
Defensive
They
player.
were going to get more than one player.
It was a swap for 3, but they weren't going to get any defense back. They were going to get Buddy Hield, what is it, Halliburton, and Harrison Barnes in a first round pick.
That's a pretty even swap.
Is it? You lose all defense.
Yeah, but you got guys
Just
who
like-
produced.
But you just said you're not going to give up
Sometimes
that
your
much
best
defense.
offense, your best defense is a better offense.
I don't know.
That's
know.
where it's like it's your pick your poison. You sacrifice your offense for your defense, or your defense
And
for your
vice
offense,
versa.
vice versa. In this situation, if Ben Simmons somehow ends up his way on the Nets, he's literally Draymond Green.
Yeah.
And if you put Ben Simmons in the Draymond Green role, he excels at Draymond Green. Because if we think Draymond Green's great, what happens when Ben Simmons is playing small ball center, pushing the break to get Joe Harris, Seth Curry, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, insert player here in that lineup, open transition shots? There's arguably maybe 3 people in the NBA better at creating transition opportunities than Ben Simmons. And I know I'll probably get a lot of hate because I actually really like Ben Simmons, and I think the hate
So
that he
I
gets.
don't think it would be like that because outside of was it last year's playoffs? The year before.
It was last year's. Outside of last year's, he was
outside of
fantastic.
last year's, so no, not even that. Outside of last year's playoffs, without this microscope of people being hateful towards him because you passed up a dunk to give up to a covered layup over Trae Young and stuff like that. Prior to that, the hate train didn't really exist against Ben Simmons.
The hate
and
train,
I think this is
was
more media
so
driven too.
he doesn't shoot. That's and rightfully so. Like if you're in the NBA, you got to shoot the basketball, right? And if you're not going to make them, you still got to shoot them because
at
even
least
when
try
Giannis
Take the
wasn't
shot.
making shots, he was still taking them. You have
He was
to
shooting
respect-
air balls and everything. Just take it.
Go ahead.
Just take
in
it.
this Brooklyn lineup, you're not going to be that much worse of a 3-point shooter than Blake Griffin, right?
Give Blake some flowers,
I
man.
love
He's
Blake.
come
I
a
love
long way.
Blake is one of my favorite players on the team, and I would be gutted if we traded Blake Griffin because I think he's a great locker room guy and he's great to be around, and I think he's generally entertaining.
And
right?
he low key plays defense.
Cookie jar.
And he low key, that's all he's doing now. When he gets a
low-key
chance to play, he's drawing charges. He's trying to switch and play defense on all these guys. Like Blake Griffin's got a ton of heart, and he doesn't get a lot of respect for it because offensively he's not that anymore, right? But like, if I'm in a lineup where like last year in the playoffs, I have Blake Griffin playing 30 minutes a game, I'd rather have Ben Simmons playing those 30 than Blake, if we're being for real, because Ben would defend Giannis better than Blake would.
So you get the defense, but you also lose out on that open.
I lose out on the 3-point shooting, but I get more spacing because I now have 4 other guys who are going to shoot and who can shoot well while Ben plays the center. Because there's not a ton of lineups where it's like 1 through 5 are all great shooters. There's not a ton of those guys, right?
Problem is Milwaukee has one of them.
Yeah, but he's also not playing basketball. And Brook Lopez. Well, you can do that. But then you switch out and you have Kevin, because Kevin Durant's not guarding Giannis. Kevin Durant guards Brook Lopez in all those games.
Or Middleton.
So, like, that's how that goes. But then you have a 5, or like you have 3 guys in your forwards in your front court who can switch.
Chicago just turned into one of those teams.
They did. But Vucevic is not great behind the arc. He can pull it. He'll make some, but he's not great.
But he's good enough.
You can't
you
leave
gotta
him
respect
open.
it.
You can't leave him open. But you can't leave any of these centers open. But they're not also, besides the Mo Bamba scoring clinic from the first half of that Sixers game last week, where he hit 7 for 7 in the first half.
Yeah, I don't know who that guy was.
I don't know who that was, but that's who the Sheck West made the song about.
Yeah.
But, like, you got to guard all the centers because they're eventually just going to pull. Even Dwight Howard's going to pull. And he'll make
Isn't Nick Claxton going to pull?
No, and if he ever pulls, get him. I'm already shipping Nick Claxton out, man. I've also traded Bruce Brown and Paul Millsap to bring Jeff Green back. Because, man, Jeff Green is needed.
Yeah.
Jeff Green is needed.
That Denver team, man, so much talent, man. If they could all get healthy, to give me Jeff Green back. Scary, man.
I'll give you back Paul Millsap, and you can have Bruce Brown because he's out of the rotation, and you give me Uncle Jeff back because Uncle Jeff was one of my favorite Nets ever.
Man,
give me Uncle Jeff back.
Well, they're looking scary second. They're looking scary second half of this season. Because Jamal Murray is coming back. Michael is coming back.
Is he?
Yeah. He's coming back.
No joke, man. And
he's coming back.
History of back stuff.
I hope he doesn't
rush it because I don't want his career to be over.
I don't think they are. They're taking their time with him.
Whatever his expected return date is supposed to be from his
they
doctors.
They didn't give a time, but they just showed him just like.
But I know the doctors are saying, hey, he should be good here. Add another like 2 months to that, just to be sure. Don't let him come back unless he's like 140%. I felt the same way about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, they're like, oh, he's 100% ready to go. Cool, sit him out another 2 weeks. I don't want Kevin Durant coming back until Kevin Durant can be Kevin Durant. Until I know he's like for sure.
Well, when you got Joker,
MPJ.
Denver is going to be a scary second half team because the way Joker's playing right now.
I'd be very interested in see what their playoff matchup is going to be, because
they're going to mess around and get Utah again and beat them again.
Because Utah stinks, right?
Playoffs wise, yeah.
Playoff wise, Utah stinks.
You can't even. You're not even afraid of matching up with them in the playoffs unless you're Oklahoma City.
Exactly. That's it. Like, Gobert can't guard Jokic. Gobert can't guard Jamal Murray. Gobert can't guard Michael Porter Jr. Gobert can't guard Aaron Gordon. Who can Gobert guard on that team?
Utah's going to be in trouble if Ingles doesn't get it together. Because he has not been having a good year. And if he doesn't get it together, that's the face right there that Utah is going to have.
Can the Nets get Joe Ingles too? That way we could just have the Australian national team and Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, Patty Mills, and Joe Ingles.
No.
Sean Marks is a Kiwi from New Zealand. He can make it happen.
Absolutely not.
Why? No. Why can't I have that? Why can't I have that? It's not like I'm asking for like the best players in the world. I'm just asking for the Australians.
He's a great role player, though, and I don't think Utah is giving him up that easy.
Give me all the role players.
Utah is not giving him up.
Because, man, these rookies that are playing for the Nets, I love Kessler Edwards, but they can fucking go. Get rid of them. You can't even put up 10 points against the Lakers.
Out here having LeBron run them off the court tonight.
Fuck you, Anthony, for fucking sitting there saying James Harden does so much.
Works too hard.
Yeah, he works too hard. Fucking where? Fucking where?
He
Tell me
gets
you
me,
don't
man.
watch Nets games without telling me you don't watch Nets games. Mike watches Nets games.
Yep.
Mike can tell you exactly what I'm seeing when it comes to James Harden.
He's a bum. That's what
That motherfucker.
No,
that
he's
motherfucker
not.
can.
But he's not been playing. He's not aggressive. Like he just
There's
goes
some
through
games
these,
he is.
Yeah, he just goes through these stretches where he's just out there running up and down the court, just
We're calling it running?
jogging up and down the court. And then
He's
there'll
having
be
a pace
moments,
issue.
and then
Bro.
he'll have a moment where he's like, "All right, I feel like playing now," and he'll have this spurt where he looks like the MVP James Harden.
Isn't he supposed to be like one of the best 3-point shooters like ever?
Yeah, I mean, I remember.
I could count on. Like,
I'm old enough to remember being
hands.
yelled at when I said him and Carmelo were a wash from three, and I got screamed at about that.
I could count on my hands the amount of games where he shot well from three this year. But I could count on like my hands, my feet, my daughter's hands and feet, and my son's hands and feet, the games where he didn't shoot well from three this year. So it's like, what am I getting? This is not the James Harden I got last year. What happened? Because the James Harden that didn't play with KD or Kyrie in like those Western Conference like tours, balled and carried.
Well, actually, this is the James Harden that you did get last year up until about a week or two before the playoffs. And then he decided, all right, I'm going to start playing now. But before that, remember, we were all sitting, well, let's give him time. He's got to figure it out. They haven't played together. It was excuse after excuse after excuse.
Well, the thing is,
they still haven't played together.
When they play together, they're fantastic.
They still haven't played together that many games. Even since all the way since last season, they still haven't played together as much.
Games together.
I'm just saying, maybe.
But when they play together, it's so good. It's so good. Like that. I'll keep referring to that Chicago game. That Chicago game is peak what this team is. Just run you off the court, having fun, suck my ass. Like that's what that team is. Like peak. But I'll never get that. I will never get that, and it's going to be the most Jet thing of all time. For the Nets to get this accumulation of talent just for them to literally never play together.
And not get to the finals. Fucking
Giannis hurt Kyrie Irving on purpose last year.
He did not hurt him on purpose.
You can't tell me otherwise. It's amazing that when you close out and you land underneath somebody on a 3-point shot, it's a foul. But when you land underneath somebody on a layup, it's not a foul.
That sounds like something you got to bring up to the rules committee.
It's my conspiracy theory. Giannis also a bad person.
Giannis is in there.
Did you guys see the? I don't know if this is on the docket for us. Did you guys see that they changed the Rising Stars rules?
No.
Hold, please. They're making a 4-team tournament and inviting the G League Ignite to do the Rising Stars Challenge as opposed to just doing like USA versus the world. They're making a tournament out of it. And I love it.
So, like, they're going to play 2 games?
Yep. Oh, let me see if I can go ahead and find it. Hold, please. Dylan can edit this out if I need to. This is from way earlier in the day. Hold on, let me go Google NBA Rising Stars 22. Cool. All right, and we're back. The Clorox Rising Stars game. They changed the sponsor again to feature mini tournament format at 2022 NBA All-Star. 4 teams of rookies, sophomores, and G League Ignite players will face off in a 3-game tournament on Friday, February 18th in Cleveland.
This is gonna be dumb.
Instead of Team World versus Team USA and previously rookies versus sophomores, this year's Rising Stars will feature 3 games between 4 teams of rookies, sophomores, and G League, blah, blah, blah. It's only Friday. A pool of 28 players, 12 NBA rookies and 12 NBA sophomores, plus 4 NBA G League Ignite players will be broken down into 4 teams. The pool of NBA players will be chosen by an NBA assistant coach. The pool of Ignite players will be chosen by G League coaches. Each team will be coached by a member of the NBA 75 team. And assistant coaches will be from the 2022 All-Star Game, who will draft their squads on an earlier prior date to the tournament. There will be 1 G League Ignite player per team. Each game will be played to a final target score, meaning that a game will end with a made basket or a made free throw instead of the clock running out. It'll be a race to 75 to celebrate the league's 75th anniversary season. Game 1 and 2 will be played until a team reaches 50. Game 3 will be played until a team reaches 25.
Oh, Lord.
I think it's awesome. I love when they change shit. Because who was watching the Team USA versus the world?
I wasn't really watching that, but was watching the rookie sophomore game. That
hasn't been a thing in like 10 years.
Yeah.
So like I love when people change shit up. I also hope they end out the All-Star weekend with the fucking 3-point contest and not the garbage dunk contest.
Well, I don't know.
Run it one more time. Run it one more time.
Okay. A pool of 28 players, 12 NBA rookies and 12 NBA sophomores, plus 4 NBA G League Ignite players will be broken down into 4 teams. The pool of NBA players will be chosen by NBA assistant coaches. The pool of Ignite players will be chosen by NBA G League head coaches. Each team will be coached by a member of the NBA 75 team and assistant coaches from the 2022 All-Star Game, who will draft their squads on an earlier date prior to the tournament. There will be 1 NBA G League Ignite player on each team. Each game will be played to a final target score, meaning that a game will end with a made basket or a made free throw instead of with the clock running. It will be a race to 75 to celebrate the league's 75th anniversary. Game 1 and 2 will be played until the team reaches 50. Game 3 will be played until the team reaches 25. I'd rather all 3 games be played to the same score, but it's neither here or there.
So this is a game with a mixture of rookies, sophomores, and G League players, coached by a 75th player all time and the All-Star Game coaches.
Assistants.
This is some dumb shit, man.
Hey, man.
Get out of here.
I'm here for change.
Exactly.
I'm here for change. And I'm
Get
interested
this
to see
out of
how it
here,
works.
man. Give me my events. Give me my my.
But this takes
rookie,
place
sophomore
before all of that
game.
happens. Wait, no, that's at the. Hold up, this is Friday night, so this is
Friday
before the events even start. Because you have the real events on Saturday. Friday is the celebrity game and the rookie and the world.
Yeah,
USA
Rise of
the World
Stars game. Yeah, we're just keep that game. I mean, I understand. I get it. You're giving these G League players a chance to get showcased.
But I like the.
That's basically what it is, though. But
that's exactly.
That's basically what it is. It's to give their G League players showcase.
I also
For
like
that. I'm
more
with you.
drafts. Draft everything. Make everything a draft.
Oh my
Don't
God.
let these guys play with their normal ass teams. Draft everything. That's why, like, when the NBA eventually does this tournament, draft your teams. To figure out how many teams you're having, have a captain, and they draft their team from the pool of NBA players.
So you like this in season tournament thing too?
If it makes sense,
I think it's stupid.
I like things if they make sense.
I think it's fucking stupid.
If it makes the season go a little longer, I'm also cool with it. Because that means I get more basketball.
Yeah.
So, like, if it's dumb, I'll be the first person to call it dumb, but I will be the first person to give everything a chance once. If I think it's dumb after the first chance, fuck it. Done. Do away with it. But, like, I was all in on the playing game. I love the playing game.
I was in on the playing game too.
Now I don't want anything but a playing game except take the 7 seed out of it. The 17's good enough to be in the playoffs.
I don't like the 7 seed being in it either.
It should be the 11,
9
10,
versus 10.
9-8.
Or you can do it that way. I was gonna say 9 versus 10. The winner plays 8.
Because all this is a playing series to get waxed by the number 1 seed.
Exactly.
So that's why I'm like, make 11, 10, 9, 8. Make them play each other for the spots. So like, if the in-game tournament, in-season tournament makes sense, and there's an actual reason to want to play that game, do it.
Besides money.
If money doesn't make money, do it, right? But or draft picks or anything. But the players don't care about draft picks.
Nope.
So how do you make the players care about this tournament?
Exactly. How do you make me care? I don't care.
If it just me.
All right, the Clippers, the Golden State won the mid-season tournament. What does that matter once the playoffs
That's why I'm saying make it like its own entity where you have 10 captains. They draft it. That way it's not their normal team. And then you just roll with it. Make it just a random tournament of players. And it's like, that's entertaining to me. That's what I wish they would do on the All-Star break. Like, instead of the All-Star game, have like 4 teams and do an All-Star tournament. That's where I think this like Rising Stars thing is going to end up going to. They're eventually going to eliminate this format, make that something else, and use this format or something close to it for the actual All-Star game.
Which also is kind of like,
because like outside of like your hardcore basketball people, who's actually sitting there watching this game that has zero relevance to anything?
It's entertaining, and it would be fine if the media didn't act like they didn't know it was an exhibition and want to criticize everything about the game. Oh, there's too many dunks. There's too many. No one plays
Nobody's playing defense.
Nobody does this.
To be fair, I think it was the first year of the draft with Steph and LeBron. They were playing defense that game.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. But like last year, why do I care that DeMontis Sabonis and Jaylen Brown are all-stars?
I mean,
they don't belong.
They made it.
They don't belong. So
you don't get excited to see Chris Paul dunk or see Steph Curry dunk because you never see that.
You never see it.
That's entertaining.
That's cool.
That's entertainment.
I would love to see Isaiah Thomas throw down an alley-oop at 5'9".
Mm-hmm. It's entertainment.
But like, it is what it is. Like, I watch it because I love basketball and I love seeing fun shit. But I'd love it if it was like a tournament. There's like, okay, cool. What team's going to advance? What team's like? Tournaments work. Tournaments always work. There's a big tournament that comes up in March every year, and it's wonderful.
Yeah,
but
that
always works.
It's gonna be wonderful.
I think that's gonna be too drawn out. Tournaments
definitely not that big. That's what I was saying. Like 6 teams, and then you do a couple rounds, 3 rounds, and then you move on.
Because the thing is that so the reason why you make it one event is because A, it's charitable, right? B, it's supposed to be a break for these players. I mean, you make it competitive when you're like, all right, this charity wins or this charity wins, depending on what team wins. And you put a score limit, so that makes it more competitive. But when you put strain on it by making it like 6 teams, 4 teams, something like that, winner takes all type of thing, and you may have to play multiple times in a night, then it's like you might
my
as well continue
idea
the season.
Is if you have 6 teams, each team represented by a specific charity, they have their sponsors on the jersey or whatever. You have your all-star jersey, and then you have like right in the middle, you have the charity sponsor, whoever it be. You drag it out through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where you have a couple games on Friday, and then you have the normal events after or before the ending of the slam dunk contest, 3-point contest, whatever. Start that a little earlier, have those games played, and then you have the final played on Sunday, where you would have the regular All-Star game. And then it's accumulation of just like, oh, all the charities get their spotlight. There's money donated regardless. You could put in special things where you have like, because this is where you get to fuck with the rules. Now it's like, oh, put a 4-point shot where if you make the 4-point shot, that's $100,000 donated to the charity of choice or however much it is. Make it fun. That's how you can make that shit cool because they're like, oh, now you're going to have guys like Steph Curry and fucking Kyrie Irving and Klay Thompson and all these guys who bomb threes, bomb the 4-point play and making a ton of money for charity. And then it turns out, and then literally at the end of it, when you're giving away the trophy or whatever, you have the representatives of the charity there, have them speak, thank the players. Like, I think it could work. Like, if you're going to do it that way.
Mm.
See? I'm kind of smart sometimes.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Well, moving right along. Now we can talk about this dirty play.
I'm gonna say it. I've always hated Grayson Allen. This is the type of basketball player Grayson Allen is and always has been. I watched him at Duke do this a ton. And this isn't shocking. What's shocking is that he only got a game, right?
I was surprised they only gave him a game.
Like, that's super excessive and, like, unnecessary. Like, he got the same type of suspension he would get if he just got, like, 2 technicals. Or however many technicals or 2 flagrants. And, like, he broke his wrist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we doing? Why is this thug allowed to do this? I fucking hate Grayson Allen, and I hate that he's in the NBA. I hated him so much at Duke, and I'm the guy who doesn't hate Duke players.
This is why I love this conversation. I'm waiting to see what Mike says because he is a Duke. And go ahead and defend it. Go ahead and defend it. Defend it.
As a basketball fan, unless you are a Duke basketball fan,
Dylan,
there are certain players
right
here. There are certain players on Duke you just fucking hate, right? I didn't hate JJ Redick. I thought JJ Redick was annoying, but I didn't hate JJ Redick. But JJ Redick absolutely was hated for a reason. Christian Laettner, hated for a reason. Shane Battier, Jay Williams, Grant Hill, hated for reasons.
Just because they were good. That's why.
No, that's not. Can you defend Grayson Allen at Duke?
No.
Grayson Allen's the only Duke basketball player I've ever hated. Ever. And this motherfucker somehow made it to the NBA.
And me and Mike, we go against each other all the time because, as he knows, my favorite college team is the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Well,
he
there
is
you go.
a Duke, exactly. So the rivalry continues. And when Grayson Allen was in college, I always said he is a dirty, dirty, dirty player. And Mike used to defend him in college.
I thought he got a bad rap in college.
What?
But his track record has followed him into the NBA. A lot of the stuff in college, I thought you could see as incidental. And some of it was, listen, you got to control your temper, man. You having these random outbursts of anger.
He's
been this way.
I'm telling you right now, Grayson Allen has had plays in his career that if I was a teammate of the player that was like harmed by him, I'd be up off the bench beating the shit out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like
the reason why he calmed down his last year at Duke is because they were trying to win a championship and he was constantly getting suspended, and y'all needed him, so they needed him to keep his shit together. Prior to that, he was just always doing stuff out of spite and thinking he can get away with it. That's why he would do it. He will always trip a player, kick a player, push a player, hit a player, dirty play, and just like, oh, what do you mean? I didn't. This has always been him. So that play is him in his purest form. It's just in a worse scale because he broke some of his wrists.
Thing of all time. It's like it's expected. Like when he got drafted, he immediately went down to the G League. He had an incident like this in the summer league or in the preseason, and then just like was gone. And then you think now that he's on this Bucks roster, who just won a championship, has expectations to go back, you would like clean it up. But no, you're a thug. You're a bad man. You deserve your ass beat. And like my hatred for him runs deep. Because it's so annoying whenever I got to see Duke highlights and it's Grayson Allen kicking the guy in the dick while he's already on the floor diving for a ball or wrenching at somebody's shoulder or insert dumb dirty play here where it's just like, man, if these kids wouldn't get just like kicked out of school, they'd be up off the bench beating his ass.
Well, that play, that was a dirty play.
That's all I gotta say.
It was so unnecessary. It was just it was unnecessarily
like 90% of the things Grayson Allen does all the time, unnecessary.
But I don't know. I think I think he's earned this bad rap.
Thank you. I was about to say, you think he has a bad rap?
He's earned it, but I think that plays against him because I literally saw that exact play like 2 other times that night, and no one raised an uproar about it on the other plays, but Caruso broke his wrist.
I thought THT's what is it was kind of close, but he went for the ball. That's the difference in that play where THT grabbed up Jalen Suggs. He went for the ball.
I thought the Suggs play was more dangerous. That really could have gotten. He could have hit his head on the floor. That could have been bad.
It could have been, but the intent is what we're talking about. The intent. He went for the ball.
I don't think Grayson Allen.
He had his hands on the break, but he has
Caruso's wrist.
He tried to kill him.
He grabbed his wrist.
He wanted to kill him.
He was trying to foul him. I think he was trying
possibly,
to foul him. But I don't think he was like, all right, here's my chance to break his wrist.
No, he did. He did that. He did that. It's Grayson Allen. He did that.
What I'm arguing, it's Dylan is just funny. I'm not co-signing that.
He did that.
But what I'm saying is his intention was to foul him and foul him hard or stop him from making a play or anything like that. But we are also knowing that Grayson Allen does things in a way where it's like, you didn't have to do that, but you chose to do that.
That's what I said. I think it was an overly aggressive play. I don't think he purposely, unlike Dylan,
it always seems like
purposely Grayson Allen tried to hurt Caruso. I don't think that was his intent.
He does these type of things against teams that don't have a guy that'll go up there and beat his ass.
Caruso would have beat his ass if Caruso not.
Caruso would have beat his ass.
I'm surprised DeMar didn't do that because DeMar is supposed to be
DeMar's
that guy.
about it.
Yeah, but he didn't. I don't know why.
He didn't do anything.
Grayson
Allen got away again.
But and I mean, so how do you feel about Milwaukee defending him? Like Milwaukee's they're going all in, trolling the Bulls. Like they're going all in.
That was a nasty billboard.
You can't do
that. Was a nasty billboard.
But like you have to defend your guy. Like at the end of the day, you have to go out there and have your guys back. But there's ways to do it. And that way is not one of them.
Well, that's what I mean. It could be that Milwaukee really doesn't think it was a dirty play. I think it was a dirty play. Like I said, it's borderline for me because, like I said, intent for me, I don't think the intent was there. Their Duke hatred is showing.
Duke bias. I don't have Duke hatred. I love Duke. I love Coach K. I love everything Duke's ever done. Like I told you, all the players in Duke that you're supposed to hate, I didn't hate because I understand good basketball.
Bro,
but I hate Grayson Allen.
You gotta realize that this is separate team that he played for. This is all about the person. It's all about the person.
Bad person.
Like I said, I don't think that was his intent. Like I really don't think in that split second moment he went, "Oh, here's my chance to go break Caruso's arm. Let me go get him." Like I don't think that's what happened. I think
there's video of him licking his chops as he's running down there to make it happen. He was just
insert Davis going like this.
This is Grayson Allen right here.
Yeah.
Attacks the basket.
Like it just didn't feel like that. Like I said, I think he went to foul him hard. I think that was a no layups
Oh yeah, he
play,
did.
and it, like I said, he overdid it as Grayson normally does, and I thought he should have got suspended for more than one game though.
There's
I
no
thought
space in our league for it.
whoa. I
Him
think
and
he
Patrick
should've-
Beverly should be exiled from the NBA.
Patrick Beverly just does a little annoying. Like Patrick Beverly does little annoying stuff,
Exile him.
but I don't think Patrick Beverly's doing stuff like that.
Well, remember when he
Well,
dove
I
at
mean,
Russell Westbrook's leg?
I would say actually I stand corrected because he definitely purposely injured Russell Westbrook.
He did.
That was definitely on purpose.
Anybody doing shit on purpose, exiled. Go play in China. the the Beijing Ducks, the Shanghai Sharks. Go over there. Go be teammates with Jimmer.
But my question is, so do you think had Jalen Suggs, had he got injured, would we be singing a different tune? Because there was no suspension, there was no nothing, because Suggs just got up and walked it off. If he gets hurt, like, do we think the suspension is because the NBA thinks it's a dirty play, or because
Yes.
Caruso broke his wrist?
It's because Caruso broke his wrist. And the only reason it's getting as much shit as it's getting is because it's Grayson Allen.
And that too,
Because
because he has a rep.
He has a rep, and man, he just does shit, man. He does dumb shit that gets people hurt. Very irresponsible of a player of the NBA brotherhood of him. What a bum. I hate him. Fucking loser. And the thing is, I would tell Grayson Allen he's a loser in his fucking face.
You know, he's like significantly bigger than you, right?
I don't care. What is he gonna do? Hit me?
He might.
Good. I'm rich.
If he's the guy that you say he is, he might hit you.
He would say, "Oh yeah, you motherfucker, yeah, hit me." He'd be dumb as hell to do it too. Stupid loser.
But
Well,
yeah,
this is another one that I'm upset that Ross is gone because he would have loved to have talked about this moment right here, which is, oh yeah,
Goat talk.
I mean, if they were winning a little bit more, it's a little bit more spectacular.
If they were playing better than they have been, this would be like next level shit. Because he is playing fantastic. He's playing great. He's playing great basketball at this point in his career. Who's doing this? Who is doing this?
Nobody.
Nobody's doing this.
If they were winning more, he'd be in the MVP conversation right now.
Like even Kareem, when he got to this point, was 8
not
points
doing
less a game.
this. He was not doing this.
He was 17, I think, 0.6 points a game at this point in his career, going from like 27. Like this is unbelievable, unheard of. Kudos to LeBron, man.
Do we think he can keep it up?
Yeah.
Second half of the season is always hard, man, because you get that break and you kind of ice a little bit. You know,
Actually,
picking back up. I mean, they're gonna turn it up
I
because they're
think
gonna
he
be
can
getting
maintain
close.
or take a drop, but they got Anthony Davis back now, and I know they're easing him in, and he may, if Anthony Davis comes out and he's playing the way Anthony Davis can play, I'm not saying like he was doing, like he's supposed to play. LeBron can take a step back because it's not good for an old man to be doing what he's doing.
That'll be to his detriment, though. Him taking a step back always, like in this situation, hasn't worked.
But if he could take a step back because Anthony Davis is playing at Anthony Davis level, then it's like you do that.
Mm-hmm.
You literally do that. You hand over the reins, and it goes to how it's supposed to be. Where AD, you're the number one guy.
Yeah,
I'll be your Robin. I'll carry us if we need to, but you carry this load. You're almost 10 years younger than me. Like, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, people, I mean, we're all like talking about how we hate how this roster has been like constructed or anything like that, but it is very similar to the bubble roster. It's just a few pieces are older and younger than the players that were on that championship bubble team, but it's the same type of players.
They have better spacing than this team does, though.
I would agree.
Really?
I
Really?
think this. Well, I mean, I don't know. Like they might have
think
more
they kind of they kind of swap out Monk for KCP. It's the same type of player, slasher
Danny
that
Green.
can shoot a little bit. He didn't do anything though,
but he still could space the floor. I'm not saying he was unbelievable, but if you needed a shot, he could take that shot and could take that
but
shot.
he didn't. That's the factor.
Who would you rather have shooting the three, Danny Green
didn't.
or Russell Westbrook?
Different positions, but
the thing is, he didn't. But you still have to guard the perimeter because he can shoot. Where they're playing Westbrook at the free throw line, so your spacing is terrible.
But at the same time, that's supposed to be Kendrick Nunn anyway. So
and he doesn't play.
Well, he's hurt.
Yeah,
he hasn't come back yet.
Even when he's healthy, he doesn't play.
Yeah.
So like, what are you gonna do? What was there to be done? Like I say, the construction is a little different than the bubble team, but like it's of the same vein, but spacing is worse.
I still, as crazy as it sounds, as bad as they look at times, they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs because everything that happens here in the regular season, everything's all fast. When we get to the playoffs, it's going to slow down, and you're going to have to beat LeBron James 4 times.
The Lakers.
What happens if the Lakers get bounced in the first round again? Then what do you do?
They're going to blow it up. They're going to blow it up.
Because there's boomer bust on this team like no other.
Well, a lot of these players are a lot of these players are 1 year signs too. So you're gonna lose a lot of players.
But at that point it's you're losing those guys, but what do you do with your 3 big contracts?
Well, they'll get rid of it. Russ is
gone. Russ is good as gone the second they get a chance.
Gone.
But
AD is
AD?
LeBron might be gone.
If you're the Lakers, you gave up so many assets for this to like. Obviously, you got a title for it, but what are you really getting out of Anthony Davis? Because he's always hurt.
I don't see LeBron leaving because he's invested other than just basketball and legacy with being in LA. Obviously, we all know his goal is to play with Bronny and all that stuff like that. So he may not go anywhere.
I think he'd sign a bunch of 1-and-1 deals.
Yeah,
until
just to stay.
Bronny gets there. So it'll be 1 year and then a player option. 1 year and then a player option.
Just for the legendary moment. That's all it is. I don't see him going anywhere just for that. But yeah, AD might be gone too, man. He might be gone.
Yeah, you really have to consider moving on from him because it's just like you're not getting healthy AD.
Street clothes.
And it sucks because when AD's at his best, he's one of the best.
One of the best players in the league. But when he's not, he's street clothes.
Street clothes. As Roz likes to point out, he has a great outfit on every night. He's like, hey, you see Anthony's outfit is really fly, man.
It's all he's giving us. Fly fashion tips. But so looking back, but that's my thing. Like, does their elimination last year? It doesn't look as bad as it did last year. Now that we know how good Phoenix is, and I think we can all agree they would have beat Phoenix if LeBron and AD were healthy. Like you could see it. The moment AD got hurt, that changed the series because AD was killing them.
That Phoenix team was right before they peaked. That was like right before they really went on this run where it's like, oh, we can go to the NBA Finals. And if they don't beat the Lakers in that first round series, I don't think we see the Suns the way the Suns are now. We see a Suns team that's very well coached, very efficient, playing very smart basketball, playing tough defense, hitting great shots. And I think all of them mentally went to another level because they tasted success. If the Lakers beat them, they were not there. If we're not there, we're almost there, and they may kick into that gear at this point of the season now. because they're a very good team. But we also don't really know how that team's constructed because remember, we lost Dario Saric in the playoffs with a torn ACL. We lost Frank Kaminsky in the playoffs. And they had injuries. So who knows?
All I know is
Do they add JaVale McGee in the offseason if they don't have the season that they had last year?
It's true.
So like it's all could be different. Maybe they blow it up because after years of missing out in the playoffs, they finally make it. They get bounced in the first round. Do they just move on from Chris Paul?
I don't think so because that still would have been a successul year. And
yeah, but it would have been their first successful year in a decade.
So why would you move on from him then?
Because he's 37.
Yeah. They'll re-up. They're definitely gonna re-up.
They'll re-up,
especially because he's not taking a step down.
Hypothetical. Yeah. I'm just dishing out the hypothetical. If they lose that series,
I think they re-up with Chris Paul, but that roster is going to start to look a little different because they're getting to the end of a lot of those rookie contracts, Ayton being one of them. Well, I know that's working right now. Yeah, it's coming up, and I don't know how that's going to look. That roster is going to look a little different. I know that for sure. But
yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with Ayton. They're going to re-sign Bridges.
They'd be dumb if they didn't re-sign Bridges.
They're probably going to re-sign Stanley Johnson. Is Stanley? Is that his first name?
No.
Tyler.
Stanley's on,
not
Stanley's
Tyler.
on Lakers today.
What the fuck's his name?
It's the kid with the afro that hits
Cam Johnson.
Cam Johnson.
Tyler Johnson's the other net bum from last year.
Mm-hmm.
Former Phoenix Sun bum.
Former Heat.
Former Heat bum. Current Buck bum.
One more thing that's going on with LeBron that this stat just came out and added to the docket.
Again, GOAT talk.
I love that for him.
GOAT talk.
We're looking like the LeBron Avengers right now, but these are all
facts.
notable facts right now. You gotta pay attention to these type of things. These are watches, just like how the Steph 3 list was a watch. You gotta pay attention to these type.
When it comes to the point where LeBron is like the because it's probably gonna be a TNT game because it always turns out to be a nationally televised game.
Yeah, they
some way, shape, or form. They time it, and when it happens, that's history like no other.
To get that in the 3-point thing from Steph in the same season, you can't say nothing but success for the NBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, absolutely not. But
and then we get to do it again when he breaks the regular season record.
That's at season and playoffs.
Yeah, that's combined.
Yeah,
which will already, to me, that's the real record. But whatever.
But LeBron's not successful, and LeBron's not a great scorer.
Nope.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to Gilbert for really putting that out there into the world. There, it's like, oh, who are the top 3 scorers, or who are some of the best scorers of all time? And he's like, well, LeBron. And everyone's like, what? Well, no, yeah.
Gil.
Forever, he's averaged at least 25. Forever, his whole career. Longevity 25, 33, 40, out here giving buckets, and he's really every year he's gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
I still think nothing peaks 2016 Bron because that was a little bit past his physical prime, but mentally was on such a different level than everybody else. But
what he did to the Warriors was criminal.
That was the year, I think, because there's Bill Simmons likes to do these vintage years of players where he'll oh, this is their wine bottle year. This is the best year for this. This is your 2012 KD or whatever the fuck it is, right? And everybody will always say 2012 Bron because it was just fearless LeBron, physically imposing all facets of the game. But 2016 Bron to me was when he finally hit mentally, where it's where Kobe hit in 2009, where he was you know what? I'm the fucking best, and nobody's going to stop me. Bron hit that there. KD in I think it was also 2017 KD, where he just went in there and hit that shot in front of LeBron and brings home the Finals MVP. That was that year for him too, where he mentally jumped up to another level. So like that's to me is like I always get the rebuttal of 2012, but I'm like 2016 Bron was
different.
That's
may not have been that beast.
Black jerseys, rip the sleeves.
May not have been that physical of a beast anymore, where he could do it all on all aspects, but mentally nobody was better.
Yeah, man.
Arguably nobody ever was better.
Yeah, he was definitely fine wine, man.
90 with you pick your Jordan year of like success, where it's like he was already new, probably 93 maybe.
Yeah, he was
at that point. He knew there was nobody even close.
That's your all-time LeBron right there in 2K, the 99 rating, the 2016 version. Yeah.
Yes, it's 93 Jordan. It's pick your Larry Bird, probably 87, where he was 50, 40, 90 in back-to-back years in one of those MVP years.
I think it was 86. Yeah, 86.
Yeah. 86. You could probably pick your prime Magic as the same year. Your 76 Kareem. Like all those guys who just transcended. Your 2006 Tim Duncan.
Yep. Your 2011 Dirk Nowitzki that just did not miss in the finals.
2004 KG.
Yep.
Yeah, that KG was a monster.
2001 Tracy McGrady. Oh, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
That was it. I love the whole like picking out the best year of somebody's career. Like that shit, like where they were at the peak.
I think you got the years mixed up, but 01 AI.
01 AI, you could do 02 McGrady then, if you're gonna do that. But 01 McGrady was still like unbelievable.
01 AI was you couldn't guard him.
2001 Vince Carter.
01 Vince.
2000 or 2001 Shaq.
Oh, 2000. Yeah, 2000 Shaq. Oh man, listen.
He was solidified as the most dominant player ever at that year.
Yeah.
Ever. And Karl Malone doesn't get a wine bottle because he probably would give it to his.
Oh my god! Come on.
Are we gonna talk about John Stockton? Because
let's fuck the Utah Jazz. This all goes back to me shitting on the Utah Jazz, and here we are. Oh, the two greatest players in franchise history are bums. Absolute bums.
Just as, oh man.
Utah, a place filled with Mormons, child molesters, and anti-maskers. Anti-vaxxers, anti-maskers. And John Stockton, idiot. Take down Karl Malone's statue.
Oh my god! Listen, man. All right, we're straying away. It was gonna be a great lead into, but we strayed away from it today. Not to get morbid, but today marks 2 years of this tweet by Kobe Bryant, which kind of leads kind of close to even us talking about him getting close to the Kareem list in points as well. There you go. Mamba mentality.
Bam.
Continue to move the game forward. Much respect, my brother. And then the following day.
Damn.
Let's keep it on a high, guys. Favorite Kobe moment. It's a lot of them, but for you, I know there was a lot of hatred early on, but if we look at it now, favorite Kobe moment. I'm gonna start with you, Mike.
Him dunking on Steve Nash.
Oh man.
Because that the one time I was rooting for, because I, as you know, was never a fan of Kobe, but he got robbed in that MVP that year. He got robbed.
Yeah.
And the way they were hyping Steve Nash up, like he was God's gift to basketball, and for Kobe to just absolutely Shut the fuck up, Steve. All of y'all dunking on him in his building in the forehead.
He
Cheers
robbed
to
Shaq
Kobe.
and Kobe.
Steve Nash has MVP from Shaq and Kobe. You could make the argument maybe the Shaq one, but Shaq really was the MVP that year.
Yeah.
He robbed Kobe. He completely robbed Kobe. So Kobe dunking on Steve Nash will forever be a yes. Good for you.
For me, I'm gonna go for one during his career, and I'm gonna go for one after his career. Playing career, that is. Let's go with 2010 NBA Finals. Him being able to get off the stride of not winning a title without Shaq, seeing him have his moment, hit those big shots, jersey in the mouth, fist up while he's doing it, Vino, the Mamba, going out there and finally like taking it home is wonderful, because I wasn't also like a massive Kobe fan, because some Kobe fans are absolutely delusional with how Kobe is viewed.
Anthony,
and
actually.
Anthony as well, where they won't even entertain the fact that Michael Jordan was better than Kobe, and it's unbelievable to me. But like, I think that moment was cool to see. I love when legends get their just dues and just desserts, and like finally be able to get over humps in their career. I'll do two for outside of his playing career. When he first retired, he did a interview with Big Cat from Barstool and Alex Rodriguez, kind of more so about the business side, and talking about how his mindset from basketball is what helped him be successful in business, because of the tenacity that and the focus that you have when preparing, and having that Mamba mentality in the real life can impact your regular life. And that's something I carry with me, where it's like, I really don't do anything in my actual life that I can't be the best at. Like, I actively try to be the best at everything I do, 100%. Even if it's like, oh, it's work. If I'm going to be here, I'm going to be the best at what I can do here, right? And then if we're going with my second one, it's him being a father, right? Seeing him and his daughter show up to Nets games or the Atlanta Hawks, because his daughter loved Trey, to go there and watch all that stuff. When I found out I was having a daughter, my biggest fear was, how would I be able to change my parenting style to a girl from having my son? And seeing him go out there with all his daughters being fully invested in caring about the growth of female basketball and growing the game, and just being a girl dad and embracing that 100% is something that I very much so respected, and something I carry to me. And I'm very proud to be a father of a young girl. And Kobe is one of those, like, kind of like people I look up to in the fatherhood sense, where it's like, yeah, you can do it. And it's not that like completely different, but embrace it because it's special.
Oof. That was emotional right there, honestly. Yeah, man, he got a hashtag after he was gone.
Hashtag girl dad.
Yeah. I'm part of that crew. But I mean, for me, just the Black Mama season as a whole, because it was more like I got something to prove, revengeful type of thing, because he just had the whole you can't do it without Shaq type of thing going on, all along with the rape trial as well prior to that. and thinking that you weren't that guy in the beginning to begin with. It was Shaq. So now what do you do? And the naysayers and everything as well. So then to have that Black Mamba season, what was the stretch? The stretch of games, it was like 40, 60, 60, 50, 40. You're not going to see that again.
Most players don't have a revenge tour like that.
Mm-mm.
Like, unbelievable.
You're never gonna see that again. You know, and to overcome the adversity, you know, and prove that and solidify his dominance on the league that season is nothing. Nothing comes close to that. Nothing comes close to that. One of my other favorite moments is I felt like Kobe had it out for Ginobili, where Kobe twice hit a buzzer beater shot while breaking Ginobili's nose by hitting him in the mouth. How did that happen accidentally twice? Me and Mike watched one of those games together. We saw it live. They called the play. He got the corner three, shot it, it went in, and at the same time, he threw his hand, smacked him right in the nose, broke it. Second time in a row. Had it out for him, man.
Which I also appreciated because I hate Ginobili.
Yeah, shout out to Kobe's last game. One of the greatest moments ever to me. Oh, how you could go out in your last game and drop buckets. Imagine being on that team when Kobe's doing his thing.
That's your championship.
You can't shoot the ball. You have to give the ball to Kobe.
Yeah. Saying that you assisted on any of those points is a memorable thing for you now. You're solidified as well, at least in your book.
Yeah. Like, I had 3 assists from that game.
I was in that game. I was
there for the final buzzer on the court on Kobe's last game.
Kobe. I was in the locker room.
Oh. I got the dunk assist from Kobe, Jordan Clarkson.
Mm-hmm.
I got that assist.
I think Julius Randle, he was on the team for that, and I think they said something about they drew up a play for him, and Kobe looked at him and was like, "Nah,
scratch.
You're giving me the ball.
Scratch that. Yep, scratch that."
All time, telling Jordan Clarkson he's playing like he's a light skin is one of my favorite moments. Him
all y'all
speaking
playing
Spanish to Pau Gasol and Sasha Vujacic during games when players around him couldn't speak Spanish, so only they knew.
Arguing with Sasha Vujacic during the USA Olympic Games. Yeah. And then getting a stop in a fast break dunk and say, "Watch what I do after this," since you want to say that.
Kobe was an absolute animal. Absolute animal, like the epitome of not giving a fuck is Kobe.
You don't get many of that cloth, man. You got the KGs, got the Kobe Bryants. Yeah. Of that same tier cloth, like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to talk shit. I'm going to back it up. Yeah.
And nobody's going to do anything to stop me.
You're not going to do anything to stop you, and I'll give you respect if you get me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's slim.
Love it.
Yeah. R.I.P. Kobe, man.
R.I.P. Kobe Bean.
All those other lost souls as well too.
R.I.P. Mamacita.
Yeah. All that other lost souls.
That would have been a fire nickname
for her. It was a fire nickname
for her in the WNBA. That would have been.
Shout out to UConn, who after gave her her own spot on the bench and her jersey retired and all that stuff like that. That shit you love to see. That's stuff that kind of reminds you that the world isn't like terrible.
Yeah. Gino Auriemma is still terrible though.
Gino is terrible, but
he's still terrible.
He's a great coach.
He's still terrible.
Goat.
Yeah.
Go coach.
Shout out to all the supporters that purchased the Mambacita merchandise, the clothing line, all the NBA players that sold it out within like a few minutes after Vanessa released it. fuck Nike for that contract.
Yes.
Sorry. I know we're looking to get sponsorship. Nike is probably not looking
Nike,
Yeah,
I'm not going to say fuck you.
It's ridiculous.
But if
you
y'all
know.
want to hook your boy up, I'm a size 10 and a half. Kevin Durant's my favorite player, and I know he has sneakers every year.
Sneakers.
So, holla at your boy.
But yeah, I mean, shout out to them. R.I.P. Dylan, you got anything for us today?
Hit the music. The music. I don't got shit. I was playing basketball before
looking
this.
for my revenge tour, man.
Don't worry, I'll have more questions next week when we have hopefully a full house.
Wow.
I was hoping. So,
Quickly, Ngannou.
Francis Ngannou already was the scariest man of all time. And then he starts ragdolling this man and wrestling and showing jiu-jitsu and scrambling and transitioning on the ground. Thank you.
It was ugly, it was sloppy, and it was scary at the same time.
Ngannou was
rough,
getting
man.
picked up in the first 2 rounds.
It was rough, but it was a fight. So hey,
he was getting
bring
pieced
it.
up, and
It's
I
a
was
fight.
like,
let's get it.
Yo, I wonder what he's gonna do. He's got to respond because homeboy was piecing him up. I'm like, all right.
I was watching it. I was like, Ngannou he's really pulling a snake charmer because he's really just everything he did. Ngannou just reacted. I move over here. Okay, I move over here. I move like this. All right, I'm gonna move like this. Like he was just following everything he was doing, and then his corner deserves the biggest bonus you can give him because the instructions they were giving him was gold. Unlike Ronda Rousey's corner, who was telling her to kickboxer. But Ngannou's corner was gold. Shout out to Usman because at that wrestling, that has to be Usman. That had Usman written.
Kamaru! Bro, I think that was the last fight on his deal.
It is. It absolutely was.
Is that why Dana White didn't put the belt around him?
Yes.
Yep.
Because they've been in contract talks for a while.
Such a hater, like, bro.
Nah.
I can't stand dictator.
Such a hater, man.
I can't stand him.
I was looking for him after that fight. I was like, that's a big win. And Dana was nowhere to be found.
Massive win.
I was like, okay, that's kind of weird.
But here's the thing with the heavyweight division. Who do you give to him?
Bones.
But you're not going to pay him. But you're not going to pay him.
Jones.
My favorite thing was seeing John Jones' series of tweets during and after that fight, where after he sees Ngannou start wrestling, he just goes, LOL, I may just retire. But then he comes out and he's like, nah, for real, I beat the shit out of both these guys.
Well, that's what I was watching it, and I was like, as scary as Ngannou looks, John Jones is a way better wrestler than that. And that is not going to work against John Jones. He's going to have to knock John's head off.
Yes, and then they're going to stand up. And if they're fighting as slow as Ngannou and Ngannou were fighting,
John's going to hurt him.
That's John Jones's fight. He just slow picks you.
I need to see how John is at 225 plus.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight, but it
ain't
a lot
much
of weight.
I'm not saying he's not going to be able to do it, but I need to see what his build's going to be like at 225.
Yeah.
Because I've seen him when he was suspended on a ton of weight in powerlifting. He was yoked. He looked like he could have just played with his brother on the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I don't know how he's going to hold his weight for a fight and what weight he's going to be fighting at.
Exactly. We don't know what weight he's going to fight. He could come in 250. He could come in 220.
But then you also have to hope Dana pays them.
Which Dana doesn't want to do.
Dana don't want to pay nobody. And John's like, I'm not going to go get killed.
I'm not going to let Ngannou knock my head off. Exactly.
Because John's taking a massive risk doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But then if
Ngannou's like,
done,
I'm the champ, so you're going to have to pay me too.
You're going to have to go by what I'm comfortable with anyway.
Mm-hmm. But then
you're going to have to come see me.
If Ngannou's done, you might as well just put John Jones versus whoever for the heavyweight title. That way you see what John is, and if John wins, now he's the heavyweight champion, and then
he's gonna have
get
to take
Francis.
a touch-up fight. He's gonna have to take a touch-up fight. He's not gonna be able to jump right into that.
Well, there's not really a deep water in the heavyweight division.
Yeah,
and
they're about 4 or 5 fighters. That's about it.
Yeah, and then it's like, if you put like my dream matchup for John at heavyweight was always like, hey, warm up John Stipe.
That's an interesting fight.
But you might as well just make that the title fight. If Ngannou's gone, just make that the title fight. Then we do Curtis Blades.
Yeah,
John will beat his ass.
You're gonna throw Blades out there. You're gonna throw who else? Derek Lewis, maybe.
Derek Lewis stinks.
He doesn't stink.
He's not good.
He's just not conditioned.
Or good. What does Derek Lewis do well?
My balls was hot.
Besides, like, great interviews and then acting like he gets hurt in his stomach to throw this crazy overhand right that kills people.
Yeah.
Where he's just,
the fake out. The fake out.
He plays possum really well.
But let him hit you with that right hand.
Exactly.
Let him hit you with that right hand.
Doesn't make him good.
Don't gotta be good to land that punch.
I would like to see John versus Homeboy who just fought Francis.
Guy, that's an interesting fight too.
That's
but
a
now
very interesting fight.
It was an
moves.
It was an interesting fight until I saw this fight. He can't wrestle. If John gets him on the floor, that fight's over because unlike Ngannou, John is going to throw ground and pound.
Yes.
Because Ngannou for some reason didn't want to hit him on the floor. John is going to hit him on the floor, and that fight's going to be over because he can't get up. So I don't know how badly I want to see that fight anymore because
I only want to see it because I just want to see John fight.
Yeah,
I just want to see John fight. That's it.
I want to see one of these big 240-pound men hit John in the face and what John does. That's all I want to see.
How'd you think the title fight before that went?
It was everything I thought it was going to be. Who did you think won?
What's his face? Homeboy who won?
I had him winning 3-2 also.
I thought it was close. And then I was very, very upset with I keep forgetting his name, the Mexican dude, because he seemed like he was just late on everything, on every exchange. He was just late, and he came out talking shit where he's like, he's not ready for me. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm doing this, blah blah blah, like the normal fighter shit. Mm-hmm. But then it's like you are literally a step behind on everything. You're not even counterpunching. You're throwing right after he's throwing, and you're getting hit, and he's not. Granted, he was hitting him with a couple like stiff jabs.
His jab was working.
But nothing else was.
He should have sticked with that because it was working. With them leg kicks was killing.
They were getting dropped by these leg kicks, like immediately.
I don't know how he stood up to it because.
Well, they were both at a really wide stance to start the fight. Dude, all right, after the first 2 times you get your leg taken out, bring it in. Like, you're going to get hurt. You're going to tear an MCL.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here?
But I thought Figueroa won the first round, the 4th round, and the 5th round.
Yep. To me, in these title fights, it really doesn't even matter the first 3 rounds. It really doesn't even matter. Because the refs will forget the first 3 rounds really quickly if you have a great 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
And there will be times where that 10-9 round kind of looks like it's a 10-8 round in round 4 and 5 because you're just pushing the pace, and now you just won.
And now you're going home with the belt. So,
mm-hmm.
But all that to say, I wouldn't be mad if they ran it back though. For
they
a
have
4th
to.
time.
They have a draw, a win, another win. You got to get one more.
I wouldn't be mad.
I also wouldn't have been mad if this fight was a draw.
I wouldn't have been mad at the draw either
because I'm sitting there. I was watching with Janice, and I'm just like, yeah, part of me thinks this can be a draw, but why would they do that again? Why would the judges draw them twice?
Yeah,
doesn't make sense to me.
But that was a very good fight.
I didn't see any other fights that happened because I was too busy watching the Chiefs and Bills, and then I was also doing a puzzle at the same time. Fuck puzzles.
I saw your tweet.
It was miserable. I've never felt like I've been mentally like useless before. until I put together a puzzle. And Janice is over here chugging along like she's having a great time. I'm stressing hard. Like I'm sweating. It's like it's cold in the house and I'm just sweating.
Where does the pace go?
Literally, it came to a point where I said, fuck it. I'm going to grab all of these one pieces. I'm just going to try to put them in this one spot. I ran through them 3 times before I finally found it all over again. And we finally finished the puzzle. Dylan, insert the picture of the puzzle here. And you know how long it took? Total hours? Take a guess.
2, 3?
Can I get a guess?
Go ahead.
9.
10.
I was close.
10 hours.
Close.
And we bought 2 boxes of these puzzles that have 4 puzzles each. 500 pieces. Each. I underestimated how... We thought it was 500 pieces total. Like, each puzzle was going to be like 100 and something pieces. I was wrong. I was intimidated. I was bullied by this Disney puzzle.
Wrong.
And it was a Disney puzzle, so that just makes it worse.
But they're in depth.
All the pieces look the same.
They're in depth because literally the whole sky is purple.
I was just about to say 17 shades of blue.
17 different shades of purple, and I'm just like, I don't even know where to fucking start.
I did one puzzle recently. And it wasn't even recently. I'm talking about at this age and time in my life. I did a puzzle probably a year and a half ago. It was a Jurassic Park puzzle I did with my girl, and it took us 2 hours to do, and it wasn't 500 pieces. So
I'm not proud.
I feel your pain.
I was riding the struggle bus. Like, it was tough. Like, we're over here, we're just looking for things to do together.
Dylan's over here.
That was me. That was legitimately me. Like, I'm sitting there stressed. I was looking for an excuse.
Janice said, "Where'd you get that cigarette?"
I was looking for an excuse to sit in the other room for like 30 minutes. Jaden was like, "Oh, I want a hot dog." I was like, "Okay, let's go."
Oh, I got it.
I needed a break.
I need to clear my brain.
Like, I was like, I need water. I need something. And like, we're over here just looking for something to do, to like be together more and do things. And I hate doing nothing. And she just likes to watch TV and stuff, and I kind of don't, because I feel like I could be doing something better with my time.
And what did that get you?
A puzzle. It was my idea. I was like, "Hey, why don't we do a puzzle?" She's like, "Oh yeah, cool." Oh, I regret every minute of it. I'm terrible at puzzles.
Yeah, this picture is so fun.
Like, I consider myself a rather like smart person. Like, I think I'm pretty smart. I do things well. I articulate and I can like do things. Not puzzles. Not great at them. Can't win with them.
Can't do it. Can't win with them.
And the whole time Jaden's like, "I want to help." I was like, "Jaden, if I'm sweating, you can't help." And I told her, I was like, "I think Jaden would be more of a help to you than me."
It might have gotten to that point.
Oh. And then on top of it, Camila's trying to touch the puzzle because she's just like, "Me mouse, me mouse." She's throwing her shoes at it.
You almost lost a daughter.
Never love her, but I did almost lock her in the closet.
I would say, but I heard that butt though.
But man, it's hard to look at her when she does things, because she does these bad things and then she just looks at you and she just goes and smiles. It's the worst because you can't tell her no.
And you just look at her like, can't stand you.
Because then she'll just be like, "Huggy?" It's like, all right, come here.
All right, bring it in.
All right. It's my rant on puzzles. Never invented puzzles, fuck you.
Yeah. We will end it right there. We will be back next week, better than ever, for our, I guess, championship edition. I don't know. We'll see, because I think there's a week off between.
Yeah, you got Pro Bowl.
Nobody cares about.
You got 2 weeks.
So yeah, we'll figure something out between now and then. But I'm your host, Big Mike, Podcast Poppy. Thanks God. We will be back and better than ever.
Mm-hmm.